and we're back.
We're good and we're back.
We're good and we're back. That's the official motto of today's episode.
Oh, great.
But we were just
Let me
discussing.
just go ahead and add that to the notes here.
We're good and we're back. I like it.
We're alive.
Always alive.
Somewhat.
That is the motto.
I don't know, guys. Like it's been a minute. We seem to have that same kind of thing every time we check in with you. But hey, we miss you. Shout out to all of our listeners all across the globe. Yeah, we do have plenty of new ones. People are just kind of brushing up on the old stuff. We got like 1,600, I think, now across the globe.
The show is any new places?
Yeah, Beacon, New York.
Hell yeah, Beacon.
Langhorne, Pennsylvania. Shout out to you.
Hell yeah, Langhorne.
Indian Trail, North Carolina.
I think I've heard of it.
San Jacinto, California.
California.
Fort Walton Beach, Florida. That's my hometown. So might be somebody I know.
It's your parents.
Yeah, maybe.
Shout out.
I hope they're
Mr. and Mrs.
Okay. And a very warm welcome to our new fans in Hidalgo, Mexico.
What?
And Bern, Switzerland.
Wow.
We got 2 new countries this time, homie.
And those are
Those
opposite as we can possibly.
Yes, exactly.
Holy
right.
shit.
Like the hood, south of the border, and then one of the richest places on earth. Like,
wow. The average height is different. Pretty much. I'm gonna say the food is different. I'm gonna give the check mark to Mexico now.
I agree.
Throw that out there.
Alpine food, if you get away from Austria and Germany, is kind of
yeah,
and I'm not into it.
For some reason, one of the only white people that cook are the French, right? Traditionally, and and just
the only white people.
And in general,
I'm half French, so I appreciate that.
The Americans like mastered everything. Like you can get the best of anything in the world in America.
Yeah, our country is the melting pot.
Correct.
Which is why we love it. So everybody comes here because they want to share their cultures, and that's incredible.
Now, right before you hit record, you were bringing up one of the last episodes that we were on.
It was our last one.
So just to catch up some of the listeners, because the conversation was so good, we had to hit record.
We had to.
And we discussed, unfortunately, some of the people of an election at that time,
we did.
Which to some people, it's a boring conversation, but there was one that was personal.
It was
because our boy lost.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
And we got to go to a cool event that was very unique at one of his family's hotels that he hosted. Yeah. It wasn't for politics. It was someone's birthday who did a roast.
A roast
for their 40th.
Yes, and let me tell you this, guys. The roasts were like, not only were they weapons grade, but they were also like very professional. I thought I was watching something on Comedy Central. That's how funny it was. And of course, we have history with all the folks that were doing the roasts and being roasted. So, like, I got all the jokes, and I know there were some people there that were embarrassed to be there when some of the stuff started coming out. I think our boys, the celebrant, his like French teacher from high school was there for some reason, and she was like turning red.
No, when I moved to Orlando, this is how I met the host, who we've known for a long time, and I've become close to him in the sense that like every time we hang out, like it's just catching up, and I really enjoy his company. He's such a character. So when I got to Orlando and we were looking for a place, we were living with a mutual friend at his beautiful house, and this person lived maybe 45 minutes from downtown Orlando.
Yeah, that sounds about
right. But every Wednesday, I think it was, he had French lessons in downtown Orlando. So he'd come over, and that's how I got introduced to him and got to hang out with him. So that was the French tutor that I had. Okay. Which then I'm like, dude, you're such an interesting person. You're taking French. At that point, he was 37, maybe. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was cool. So we're talking about the person that actually held the roast, but it was
celebrating him.
Celebrating
to what the roast master, the guy who put on the event at the hotel, his parents' hotel, Rishi Baga. He was the guy who's now run for Congress twice and lost narrowly both times. I blame Orlando for this.
I did. But how far is his district from Orlando?
It's Orange County.
I did not know.
It's like half of Orange County. Yeah. And that's why I can't vote. Well, not only that, but I mean, I have to re-register. But I can't vote for him because I live in Seminole County. So you could, and
I've never seen him on my thing. Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't know if you're not my zip code.
If you're not registered in the Democratic Party, or you're not registered as an independent,
I am an independent.
then you could probably, I don't know if it's something you got to change on law.
Now,
you want
when
to
you
be
say
open.
2 elections, did you mean one as a primary and he
No,
lost, or
no.
both general?
He lost. I think the first one he lost was a primary. Second one,
That makes more
which
sense.
was earlier this year. I think he lost.
Yeah, that was the general.
Yeah,
that was the big one. That was the one that we
But
endorsed him.
it was a special election. Yeah,
that's the one where we went over, and guys, our podcast, we touch everything. We don't give a fuck, and so I'm sorry.
Okay, we crossed that Rubicon.
Yeah,
F-bomb dropped.
F-bomb.
We're back.
Earmuffs. Now I forgot it's a kids show.
It's not a kids show.
No, I'm kidding.
There are no children seeking out our week today on X, formerly known as Twitter, or Wisdom. Yeah, how many kids do you know have a Wisdom account?
Read it out. Yeah.
We're lit.
So guys, what I was saying is we had interest in this individual because he's a great human being. If you ever meet someone, have you ever met someone, I should say, that even in, let's say, 20 minutes to 2 hours to 3 hours an evening, whatever the case may be, left such an impact with you, just the conversation I had with this person. This is one of those types of individuals.
Yeah, he's an inspiring guy.
He is an inspiring fucking individual, bro. There's not that many of them.
No, and it's true. You were telling me the story about, I didn't even know this. I basically went to college with him, and he never shared it with me, but you got it out of him at a restaurant or something in South Florida, where his dad and mom are Indian Canadian, right? So by way of Canada, came to the U.S., started a cab business, did that for a while, did really, really well, and then became, hotel owners.
You never knew how the story went?
The previous, I knew that they owned and ran hotels, but it's a smaller number of well-known brands or whatever, but I didn't know that they ran a cab business.
Oh yeah, that's what did it. Yeah, that medallion, bro. It was gold.
Yeah.
That big four Uber guys, and I know we have a lot of young listeners. There used to be things called taxi cabs, right? And it sounds fucking wild, and it's this word that we just throw out there, but they're not around that much anymore. They were everywhere, but in the areas where they made the most money, it was almost like a mafia. Like, I've always heard that. I even as growing up in New Jersey, where taxi cabs weren't as popular, but living next to New York, you got to see them all the time you went to the city. You either were a driver for someone that owned something called a medallion, and these medallions were expensive. It was hard to get. I always thought about it as a liquor license, it's probably harder.
It's harder to get, more exclusive, more expensive. Yeah,
and just when the odds are stacked against you when you're an immigrant out of a new country.
That's true.
So it's always beautiful to see stories like this, and to see an individual as when you meet, like you said, I met him at my favorite bar in South Florida. Right. So shout out to the Broken Shaker. Fucking has on record at least once, maybe even more, but I was there specifically for this one. Had one of their bartender of many had their drink in the best drinks of the year.
Wow. And
that's put out, I don't know if it's Cosmopolitan magazine.
Probably
it's
not.
one of these old school magazines that
maybe like GQ or Condé Nast or something like that. Or
first, I don't know why I said Cosmopolitan, but I feel
Cosmopolitan sounds like it would be something.
It's an
old
a
chick's bartender
respected magazine. I don't remember which one, but that's the one where I heard at that time.
It's not Booze Daily.
No, it's
not
something
like a
big where if you make it for food and wine, for example, if you make if your restaurant makes it there or they do their list, that's huge for your business.
Yeah.
This drink, and the only reason I know this because that night that
tell us about the drink.
I'm in line.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
All right.
I'm in line, and I'm just thinking it's a bar. I think it's really cool. It's very fucking cool ambiance. It's one of the coolest fucking bars you will ever walk to in your life, where the backdrop is you're at an in-ground pool in the backyard type of feel, but it's also it's just awesome. The vibes are just you're just positive vibes all day.
Okay.
Let's say that.
Putting that out in the universe.
Correct. So I go to one of the walk-up bars. The guy behind me, he goes, "Do you know who's about to serve you?" Or like he just
That's
brought
a-
up,
that's
he
an
started
award-winning
conversation.
bartender.
Yeah, he's a writer.
He's basically a starred
Yeah.
chef, you know.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was a female bartender, and the guy was a male, and he goes, "Do you know who that is?" And I'm here specifically for this drink
Yeah.
because she's the one that got the award.
Mhm.
So just to give you guys a backdrop on like how cool this bar is to even have. I didn't know any of this, but that's when I met one of the coolest individuals of all time, who then later in life runs for Congress in a town that I didn't live in at that time.
Okay.
Now that I do, and it's someone who is in a party who recently their beliefs aren't quite as aligned with mine, but Orlando we've discussed before is a purple city.
It is
Right?
It's
It's
the
not
purple
blue or
city.
red. It's
That's right.
the purple city.
It's the purple city.
Because I would never unvote the guy that runs it. I love
Yeah.
the buddy guy.
Buddy
Like,
guy.
yeah.
Buddy Dyer, you're all right.
But anyway, that's enough politics.
You think he's gonna? Oh, for now. You think he's gonna run for governor?
He could. There's a lot of red holdouts in this state, but
From
I
here,
think that
From
he
here,
can
though, I
show
think he
that
can-
he's not a radical.
he's governed from the center.
It's
from
cool.
Orlando's perspective.
Orlando's a
Yeah.
cool ass
It
fucking
is.
little.
It is.
Hey, for not having a fucking beach, we're inland, and I'm a fucking guy that's lived on an island. I live on the ocean. Like, I like this town.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I need my beach, man. And
Oh yeah,
45 minutes away is doable.
yeah. I
So-
grew up on the beach too, so I understand. I get it.
But anyways, we were talking about Rishi.
Yeah,
we
but-
got-
Did we even mention that this is our week today? This is the 53rd episode. We're back. We're still alive. We're here.
we talk like we just haven't skipped a beat.
That's right. That's right. And I hadn't seen one in probably a month, so here we are. Shout out to our main sponsor, Sleeves, putting out some very high quality workout and sporting gear. This is a kind of a small business from South Florida, from Davie. If you want to go to their website and check out, use our code OWT25, we get a little slice of that action. I did reach out to Liquid Death pretty recently, Murder Your Thirst, if you're listening, to see if they want to do a collaboration. Haven't gotten a response yet. But we'll
We
see.
need some more views again.
We do.
We
do.
haven't been on in a
We do.
while.
So
but-
I'll give a little plug real quick. Not only do they not just have like really, really good
so you've had it.
filtered water.
Wait,
yeah,
let's go back.
It was the only thing they had at Lollapalooza for water for like 2 years ago. It was
Liquid Death? Are you hearing
Liquid
this?
Death. they
you
had a
hearing this, Liquid
monopoly. I got my like lifetime membership card because they had a little area where you could go and get your gold card here. See that Liquid Death?
Now, if my brain serves me right,
Mhm.
Liquid Death is an idea of the
no, you're
son
You're right. It's
of the son
Yeah.
of a
like energy.
comedy
Mhm.
club promoter or owner
Yeah.
who went on his own
But he's
and-
sober.
and he's sober.
He's sober.
And he hated the fact that you look like a dork drinking water at clubs and
Sure.
shit. So like he made
Yeah.
it made sense to me. And just coming from this podcast,
Yeah.
we love stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
We love
We
that.
talk
that
about
art,
every episode.
that art form is my favorite. I don't know if it's Trevor's. It's definitely my favorite type of art form, more than music, more than anything to me. And just for Liquid Death to be connected to that, is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Somehow
That's how
we
they
should
kind of got their
perform.
start. So
And is that the first time you tried it? Was that
I think it might have been actually because it was really hot. It was
Let me ask
late,
you this.
late July. So
I'm gonna ask you as if I was a critic. It's like, wouldn't anything be good when you're hot and thirsty?
yeah, probably anything. I'd have had water out of a milk.
Then
carton.
that's genius marketing because you're gonna think this is the
Yeah.
greatest fucking.
It was
drink
the greatest
ever.
at the time for sure. It could have been fucking hose water, but it's alpine. They get it from they get it from the
Yeah.
Alps, and there's nonstop snow. We should probably talk about that too.
Where was Lollapalooza this year?
It's
Chicago?
well, they have it in 5 or 6 places around the world.
Where did you go?
I went to Chicago. The only
Chicago.
time I've ever gone is Chicago. But they have it in Chile. They have it in Paris. Different places. But anyway,
America's is Chicago though. No other places.
There's
in
nowhere
America?
else in America.
Not California.
No.
What's the one in California that
I really want to go to. Well, I mean,
South by is awesome?
yeah, no. There's like Stagecoach is the country one, but at the same place, it's Coachella.
Oh, that's
In the
good one.
Coachella Valley?
That's California.
Yeah,
right?
it's
That's the one.
yeah, it's in the desert.
Is that one you wanted to go to?
I don't think so. Because it's like 500,000 people, and like you have to take a bus there, and you can't camp there. You have to take a bus out like every day, and it goes from like 100 degrees during the daytime to 50 degrees at night. So you got to prepare for that because you're going to be among all the throngs of people who are in the desert when the wind's blowing. You got to wear like a keffiyeh, like you're out in fucking Afghanistan. You know,
Rich people must love that because they get to switch outfits. And there's nothing.
I'm not really into
it. There's nothing more than a let me put it this way. A really wealthy person who is more on the side of like
a really wealthy
woman or someone that's very and I don't want to use it as an insult, but very what the fuck would the word be that describes someone that likes how they look. But I don't want to give it a negative connotation or
connotation.
Yeah. Sorry, English is my second language.
I was just gonna say you're doing great. You're doing great.
But like, there's nothing better for that type of person.
Yeah,
an outfit switch from cold to hot, especially cold.
Yeah.
No, cold is the greatest outfits. You can wear some of those ridiculous shit, the jackets,
and I do,
and that's
absolutely.
in the same day. You're saying that's in the same day where the temperature is.
But the thing is, like, if you don't have a place to like change, you just have to go out in the middle of the day, middle of the morning probably, and it's hot, and then you're expected to stay at the concert for 12, 15 hours. As the temperature drops in the desert, it can get like Mad Max out there. People are fighting for blankets, you know. I'm just thinking like
it went to Burning Man.
Yeah, same thing, but you can't camp. You can't
camp though. It's Burning Man without
a
camper.
I mean, you can camp, but you can't camp there. You have to go all the way back to like behind where the bus is picking you up. So it's remote. No, it's a drive. It's a charter bus. Yeah, I'm like, no. My wife's never gonna go.
Shout out to Austin for making everything
close. Yeah, it's walkable, buddy. I will go back to ACL every year. I did this year.
I was just about to say.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
So I'm wearing the shirt, boy. Look at this. Look at this T-Rex. Oh, that is gangster.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize it before.
So we had Kendrick.
That looked like the hotel I stayed at.
Oh, that's it right there?
It looked
the motel hell.
It literally looked just like that. See the bats? We got fined for smoking inside the room. And the owner loved it. He goes, guys, I love you guys.
No, it was cool. So yeah, night one was Lumineers. Kendrick Lamar showed up late. He only played for like half an hour, and they cut his mic. They said it was due to like plane issues. So Lumineers played 2 hours. Kendrick was there for half an hour. So we were all kind of disappointed in that.
Kendrick was my main guy.
Yeah.
He killed it.
Yeah. He went through. He rapped as fast as he could, and he went through probably 10 songs in half an hour. So he gave it his best shot. You know, and he had like.
They cut the mic because of
they did. Because it's in a neighborhood. Like Zilker Park is between downtown and the river, and like right next to it is like I wouldn't say the suburbs, but it's residential, so they can't have anything after like 10:30 or 11. I can't remember. And then we had Foo Fighters, Mumford and Sons. We closed it out. Mumford's dope. I mean, I'd seen Marcus Mumford once, just him, just playing a guitar by himself, but they were rocking. It was a really, really good show. I'd seen Foo Fighters before, but I mean, they're always terrific. So
that's really
it was fun.
Anybody else that stood out?
Well, there's a couple small acts. The first one I saw, I was by myself because the girls were going to the bathroom or whatever, and I was like, you're gonna go see Shania Twain or some shit. So I'm gonna go see the National Parks. They're from Park City, Utah. This little indie band. They've been around like 10 years, and they're terrific. I heard some of their music, but wasn't the biggest fan. So I went and saw him, and I was like, this is great. I'm turned onto it now. And then Michigander is this other guy who I think he's based in Nashville, which makes sense because it's such a huge music city. But
shout out Theo Von.
He's a like indie music darling. Listen to some of his music, and you'll think that. I mean, and he does all the composition himself.
Steven, I'm going to send you this clip because you are the motherfucking indie music king. He got me into it.
Good. Okay.
He got me to go see. I went with him to go see Bon Iver.
Yeah, Bon Iver.
Yeah, but I always say Bon Iver because he goes.
It's a Due South joke. Shout out
to
Mid-90s TV.
He acknowledged it on stage. He goes, "Thank you for coming out to see Bon Iver.
Bon Iver.
And Steven laughed at me because that's what you called it. Bon Iver.
Bon Hiver.
And I know we love to sidetrack like this, but shout out to that motherfucker because you're making songs with Taylor Swift.
Yeah. I mean,
and you're fucking
they
on her album.
They produced that whole album, and I like that album. You know
what, bro? Like I saw you guys live. You changed my aspect in different types of music. I felt like I was one of your original fans, and then these group that you see, but it just shows me I have impeccable taste, and I will die
it's evolving.
Die to my death.
Yeah, you will die to your death.
I will die on my shield on that.
Right.
And I like when it's acknowledged by reality, such as Taylor Swift working with them. Where I'm like,
she had to do something different, and I appreciate the fact that she did.
And I know I'm bragging, but my point is, they were good. Like when no one even knew that who the fuck they were. I'm like, all right, good. And that actually gave me more respect for Taylor. Because look at you having a fucking
branching out.
Me and you have the same taste.
I guess the most recent thing in her wheelhouse is big time collaborations. She did one with The National, which is a band I really like, and Fall Out Boy, which is one of my favorite all time bands. And it's her songs, but the Fall Out Boy song is one of her songs, and they play the whole ensemble, and their vocalist gets a whole verse to himself.
Have they done it live?
I don't know. But that'd be a killer.
That would be a must
in Chicago, because that's where they're from.
That would be. I thought they were Maryland.
I dated a girl in college who thought they were, or tried to convince me they were from New Jersey, and I was like, "Bitch, no."
So you knew for a fact.
Yeah.
I always thought they were from and I didn't get to Fall Out Boy until later because that wasn't my scene. But my little brother had mentioned. I listened to just like some of their
good music.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I definitely enjoyed it.
The Waves album's pretty good.
So that was the music. What about sports? How have you been doing in sports? What you doing?
My Saints are sucking ass. I'll tell you that right now. Derek Carr is in the ditch right now.
Are you in any fraternity fantasy football shit?
I'm in one with my brother and his son. So my nephew is the commissioner, and he's like 10. No, it's great because it's like him and some of his cousins, and then me and my wife, and then.
There's no way
my brother
commissioner can be great. This is just crazy.
He's nuts.
It's
runs all the trash talk online. It's
insane.
But I mean,
what about
kids are maturing much faster these days.
Yeah, but what about the points?
I think it makes sense. I think it's fair.
I mean, just insane. You guys are scoring 168.
No, there's probably been one game where one player scored over 100. I'd say. So I mean,
so that's all right.
It's a tough slog. I was winning for like the first half of the season, and now I'm like on the top half of the middle of the pack. It's been brutal for my team recently. How about you?
Before I lose this train of thought and how important it is of what you just said, is the kids these days.
Yeah, they're maturing a lot faster. Mm-hmm.
In certain aspects.
They have their own fucking YouTube channel.
Let me tell you this.
Him and his brother.
Number one, shout out to that kid because he's going places. Because not every 10-year-old had that skill set. So number one, that's it. But number two is you and I are witnessing the generation that came around where the internet was there. Mm-hmm. We came around when it showed up.
Yep.
Big difference, which gives us some advantages because we also played outside.
Yeah, like when you consider like Gen Z, I think they're probably on the tail end of Gen Z, right? Like his older brother is 13, 14, and he's 10.
What the fuck is after Gen Z?
So
I forgot. What it is. I mean, before. No, after.
Millennials was before Gen Z. Before that was
no.
Gen X.
Yeah, no. Forward, I mean.
I don't know what comes after Gen Z.
I
don't know if they know what
that forward one is making fun of a lot of the Gen Zers.
Yeah,
like they're like, you guys are fucking dorks. Like, which reminds me of us. Which, by the way, there's different types of millennials. And shout out to it's a female comic.
Yeah, elder millennial.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's
which
is Eliza. She's hilarious.
Shout out to Eliza. You and by the way, if you watch the End of the World podcast, which is a special podcast I think it was election night in 2016 at the Los Angeles Comedy Store, which included Bill Burr.
Yeah. It
Elijah.
was legendary. It was legendary.
It was legendary. Where Bill Burr made fun of the hat that Joe Rogan was wearing. You guys know Joe Rogan. I'm gonna it's like, and to some of you, this is like, you tell me something. No, it's a lot of people. They don't even know this exists.
It's true.
But that's where Elijah, I respect her because she allowed our political beliefs and all this shit. It was great. But we are elderly.
Yes.
And I give her credit to that because it's so true.
Yep.
There's a big difference between the class of like 02, maybe 01. I don't know if 2000 is considered an elderly. And like 04, 05, 06. We're just night and day difference of how they grew up and what we had.
Mm-hmm. There's an even bigger difference to your earlier point about like we saw the internet come alive. You know, we saw it go online, and kids these days.
But a 10-year-old
assumed it was always there.
10-year-old is past it.
No, they have phones. They've got like they have the world at their fingertips. And we did not.
I don't know if I can give a 10-year-old a phone.
No, I mean they have the ability to go online. They have the ability to very easily at school or whatever. It's like second nature, or it's the first thing. They're like, why would I open a book? There's a billion books online. There's videos. Yeah, it's easier to watch a clip.
And they're not wrong.
Yeah,
they're not wrong.
You learn faster by watching somebody do something.
They're not wrong. And it's kind of my thought process was like,
that's not fair. Fuck those
no, it was a 10-year-old running. I've been a commissioner. I know what it takes to be a commissioner. Where they're like, hey man, you're too busy. You can't be commissioner anymore. Like I get it. Like I've been there. I've ran a league for over 11 years one time where I was just a commissioner. Damn. And when you tell me a 10-year-old runs it, at first I'm thinking, that's fucking insanity. And then
first of all,
you threw in these tidbits where it's just like, wow, maybe they like are so advanced now where it's not insanity. Yeah. Where these kids know what they're doing to start, they research it, they have all the tools to be able to comprehend it. And at 10, that's impressive. That's very impressive.
That's cool. I mean, they're smart kids, so I don't have
Do you think they lose out? And it might not be all of them, but like, because some of them are going to be good at mixing it apart, but do they lose out in the social aspect if you're that good online?
No, they've got.
Or is that just the new human nature of like you're just good at all of it?
I don't know. I think it depends on the interface, like whatever you're using. Give you an example, like I have to work a lot in ServiceNow, not a sponsor now. I don't know if you know what that is. Yes, please. I'll have one of the resins if you have one there. Good night, see ya. Yeah, ServiceNow. So we're using that for like basically everything now, and it's the green one.
I just saw it.
Thanks, man. That's perfect. And it's easy for me to pick it up, but thank you. You didn't have to open it.
Hey, shout out to the Mandarin Mustangs.
Mandarin Mustangs.
This is my senior year of high school. The only year I went to this fucking school. It's one of the greatest fucking schools in Jacksonville. I love this fucking school. I only went there my senior year. I was at a car dealership. Someone had this on their desk. And I'm like, that's odd. No, I go, that's fucking awesome. He goes, do you want it? I go, absolutely. Without even hesitating.
I gotta show this off. Mandarin Mustangs.
Anyway, sorry.
No, that's okay. Just learning technology, I think it has a lot to do with the way the technology is set up. So ServiceNow is multiple interfaces, different screens, and lots of like drop-down menus that you have to program before you can use the tool. Okay. And so it's like black and white. It can be right or wrong, and it won't let you do anything if you get something wrong. You know, so that's not the same thing as like a handheld social media or fantasy football app where there's only so many things you can change, and there's a lot of it's just input to you, and you make a decision based on what. It's kind of the opposite, right? A very colorful phone app versus something that you look at on a computer screen, and it's all kind of boring, just data. So if I was to say, okay, kid, take this system and learn how to use it on your own without any colors, without any buttons that, you know, make confetti go off or, you know, paint and things like that, it would be a very different uptake, I think. So that's why there's animation. Like Robinhood is another great example of a tool that's it's got very little uptake. There's very little of a learning curve. just, oh, I want that sock. Bought it. Great, done. And then it's like 3 screens and you can be an owner of a sock, right? 2 or 3 buttons, things that you have to push.
It's almost like the Apple model of simplicity, right?
Gamification is what it is.
What is it called?
Gamification.
Okay.
Making it seem like a video game. And it turns people into.
That's what Uber.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Uber, kind of always leads that way.
Yeah.
Like it's keep it in it, and to be honest, it's based off the foundation of KISS.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple, stupid. I've had this conversation recently because it is what you just described is the simplicity.
Yeah.
Along with
make it fun. Make it look like a video game. Make it easy, and it is. Correct. And if you can check those boxes, you can sell anything. So
now, is that a disadvantage to these kids if that simplicity goes away?
I would think so. Yeah.
It's gonna be a huge disadvantage.
Yeah.
Like
that goes to my point. Like if you give them a tool that doesn't look like that, it doesn't. It stops you. It makes you think. Nah, they're not gonna like that as much.
Like just one of those phones with the circle.
Yeah.
What's it called? That was a rotary phone. Look at that. I forgot. That was old.
You're a little bit younger than me, but not that much younger.
Yeah, but I mean they existed, but they were old. You know, like people were already getting old big wireless phones in their house by then.
I'll tell you what.
But my grandparents had a fucking.
Yeah, it was weird when we went to Germany. I lived in Germany for 3 years. I'm not sure if our wisdom listeners or anybody else on the internet. My dad comes home from his first day on the German base, you know, and he's like, "My office is a rotary phone."
What year was this?
88. Wow. 88, and they already had like the suitcase cell phones that you'd have in your car. So it was going back to the Cold War for sure.
I think there was rotary phones in like being an immigrant. You probably were at people's houses where they what they could get. And I definitely remember seeing some. But my grandparents, I kind of have a memory. Shout out to my beautiful grandparents of a rotary phone. And I remember using them.
Yeah. When we got back to the States, my best friend at the time was a Puerto Rican, and all the rooms in their house had rotary phones. No one had a wireless phone. I was like, "That's what's up, dude." Yeah, actually, it was. My grandmother. She had to be 65 or 70 at the time, but she was one of the first ones to get like a wireless punch phone.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good caller, and this is so hacked. This is talking about this.
Yeah, we're off track. We're
just
all
like
off.
A caller ID was. I remember when that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit! You know who's calling now? Like I lived a little bit of that life, not knowing.
Oh yeah.
And this is like an old school Sebastian Maniscalco joke with like people knocking on your door.
What's that?
Where you didn't know.
Don't ring my doorbell.
No.
Don't knock on the door.
But like you were happy for that shit. You were like that was the norm of the surprise of the possibility of someone coming over at the house.
Yeah.
Kind of was like.
No, I understand.
It was almost. Now it's dreadful. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Because they're always selling something. No one knocks it. They come through the open, garage. If I know them, they can let themselves in.
It was like like on Seinfeld. Yeah. There was like your neighbor on. I'm an old Married with Children fan, so it was just like your neighbor coming over. The doors open.
The doors they just.
Now I bet there are parts of America that are still like.
Yeah, I'd say like
there's a fridge in the garage. You just walk in.
Yeah,
but it's definitely changed. Where that's not the
no. That is the exception, not the rule anymore. That's a shame, but what are you gonna do? Hey, have you seen anything good on TV or watched a movie that you want to recommend?
Right off the top of the head.
Yeah.
I keep going back to. Watching Survivor, so right now I'm on season 3.
Out of how many? How many are there? I know they're still going.
They're like
the 50s.
50. So I'm on 23. Right.
All right.
One of the greatest shows ever. That's why I'm back on it because I never respected that show. I kind of clowned it a little bit. Didn't really. But it's a game changer of a show.
Okay.
That being said, recently I really, really enjoyed, I haven't finished, was the Squid Games real reality game.
Wait a minute.
Oh my
I have not.
fucking god,
Is
it
it-
is so great.
Are there a lot of like blood squibs going off from people? Is it
The
like
first game, just to let you know, is the dull one of
Mhm.
red light, green light.
uh-huh.
But obviously they're not going to shoot you. This is not a spoiler alert. So like
Yeah,
they do use the technology of movement.
Mhm.
But when the head realizes that you moved, instead of getting shot, they're all wearing packs.
Okay.
Blow
That,
up.
that, yeah, the squibs. That's
Yeah,
what I was
yeah,
talking
it was
about.
pretty
Yeah.
fucking
There's,
cool.
there's still blood. It's just fake
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It was
blood.
awesome. So some people are like either really disappointed, they just lost out on the chance for the show, on winning the show and the money. Others are just like, oh, this is cool, and they acted out like they just really got shot.
fucking dead.
That show has been fucking awesome.
Is it
Because
also-
it's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah. Psychologically, it's some crazy shit. The amount of people that they have, and then also, Survivor's hard, and those motherfuckers are still giving out the same prize that they did pre-inflation.
Yeah.
So it means nothing.
Yeah.
Like, let me give you $1 million for
Yeah.
hell, where they were still giving $1 million. I'm like, go for it. You know what I'm saying? Which that $1 million is now what I felt Squid Games is giving, which is like 4 point something million.
Okay.
Every time someone gets eliminated, it comes into the fucking thing. It's identical to the show.
It's a South Korean production, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and is it only South Koreans that play on that show?
No,
You got people from all
mostly
over the world.
Americans.
Mhm.
It's got Europeans. It's got Africans. It's got Chinese people. It's got every fucking thing.
Wow.
There's 400.
Oh my gosh, it's
That's
crazy.
how the fucking thing
Yeah.
starts.
Mhm.
And the last
It gets
one
whittled
was
down,
4
man.
point something million.
Okay, so if you make it to like the last 100, do you get any money?
Nothing.
Nothing. You get
Right.
nothing.
You're going for 4 points because you got to watch Squid Games.
Yeah.
You understand what Squid Games was?
Yeah.
Did
but
you watch the
it's-
series?
It's no. But I understand the concept. It's the
It's-
the last person alive, right?
Let me give you this: it's like Squid Games changed the game because no matter what the fuck came out of South Korea and they had this or that or the other,
Mhm.
Squid Games is the only motherfucking show you guys brought over that everyone in America took in
Mhm.
and respected you guys as like, whoa, you guys did some really good shit that we can watch without being English speaking.
I think subtitles are fine. I feel like I read them quickly, and it usually puts them up before before the action, right? And I know you're multilingual, but at the same time, like it's a big stretch going from the mouth movements and things like that from Asian language.
Dub, right?
Yeah, a dub. Yeah.
My point is this: number one, you're more rare
Mhm.
than the normal person because, like, I know people like my brothers.
They
from
can't
France.
stand it.
They
can't
cannot ever watch a subtitle, right? And to me, Squid Game was so good that the dub was okay.
Okay, so you could watch it without and still be
Correct.
Cool.
And fucking enjoy it. It was that good. I go,
Mhm.
you Koreans finally figured it out.
You Koreans.
Dub, writing, it didn't matter.
Bro.
Because the art was so good.
Mhm.
It transcended past all that shit.
So there you go. If you haven't seen it yet, like me, go out check
I
out seek
recommend
you
it.
out Squid Game, and then what's the new one called?
It's so what they did is off this fucking hit show.
Mhm.
They're like, hey, this show's so crazy.
Let's make a Survivor.
Let's make a
version.
Survivor
Right.
version.
But what
of
is
it.
what is the new version called?
It's Squid Game.
Squid Game
reality, I guess.
reality.
I don't know.
All
It
right.
says, yeah.
Yeah, it'll pop up.
It's
Just
not
search,
season 2 of
search that
Squid Game.
shit. Like,
Yeah, it's not season 2 of Squid Game. These are real people. They're not really killing them.
Did you ever watch Battle Royale? This is Japanese, and I think they made the Hunger Games based on it, where they take all these kids.
Is it Hunger
These,
Games a book?
yeah,
Am I
but
wrong?
the concept is you take kids from different places in your country and you make them fight to the death, right? And these kids in this
Isn't that Animal Farm or no?
no,
the one
it's not
with
Animal Farm.
What's the, not Animal Farm. The kid.
the kid Animal Farm. What do you mean?
Yeah, what's the kid?
Charlotte's
Animal
Web?
Farm? No.
No.
What's the one where they all fucking kill each other or something? I never read it. It's a famous book. It's famous everything.
I don't know. I thought that what you're talking about was
No, what's the
Hunger,
kid one?
Hunger Games.
No, there's a kid one way before
But
that.
Hunger-
That has to go with what you described.
Hunger Games was like
No.
teenagers.
No, which one's a kid one where they it's a super famous dude.
Look it up, producer.
Ah,
shit.
shit.
Like, what am I
Anyways,
doing?
continue
with
with
this?
your thought, Wyatt.
Anyway,
Okay.
Battle Royale, great movie.
Battle Royale.
So yeah, they put them on this island, and the Japanese chain of islands, and they say, okay, last one who survives. I don't know what the reason was, but it's like this government, sponsored program.
Uh-huh.
And they give them like all kinds of weapons. They give them like traditional old school
Flies. It has something to do with flies.
One person got like a Uzi, and these kids have
Lord
never.
of the Flies.
Yeah, Lord of the Flies.
Isn't that a survival thing?
Yeah, but it's not like a competition.
It's not a competition. Oh, so it's a specific competition.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess
I'm going back to being focused because I was like, there's a
Okay, good.
movie about survival.
All right, do yourself a favor, guys. Watch the most recent version of Lord of the Flies. Watch Battle Royale. I would watch like 1 or 2 of the Hunger Games movies, and then go watch Squid Game, the reality version, and then you'll be all caught up.
Can I ask you, have you seen Lord of the Flies? Is it good?
I read
I've
the
never
book.
seen it.
I read the book, and I know they made several movies. So I can't vouch for
Was
any
the book
movies.
good?
Yeah, it's an absolute classic.
Legendary, right?
Yeah,
It's a classic, right?
yeah.
I've never
Very
read
good.
it. I just knew of the concept of it. I knew that pig farm.
Well, now you have something to do.
Farmers kind
Yeah,
of like it, right?
now you have something to do while you're waiting for clients to come in. You can pop up that book, and
Exactly.
you could even get a hardcover and put it in the first edition library.
I will. I would like to know that you would try Squid Game.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Like,
I'll check
these
it out.
Koreans really did it. Like, you guys
Keep saying-
transcended to us, and I keep saying that because they make
These-
so much shit. Like, I have a cousin. God bless her soul.
Is she
because
really your cousin?
She's my cousin. She's
Okay.
my baby cousin because
She's
she
the
broke
youngest.
the record at the time
Mm-hmm.
in Morris County Hospital. They're one of the best hospitals in the nation for premature babies.
This is in
Where
Jersey.
they have a whole entire wing in Jersey. I mean, I think I've talked about this once on the podcast.
I don't
maybe
think
not.
you have.
And when Isabella was born, yeah, she broke the record for the smallest baby they've
No
ever had.
kidding. And
And she
she's
survived.
and she's fine.
Yeah, but it was like when you went to go see her, I
She's
never
like-
forget as a kid, you
Like
walk
the
through a
size of your
hallway
hand.
first
Yeah.
of like all these baby like giant frames of like
Mhm.
these are the fucking like this is what we do. You're in the special wing of our specialty. All these and they're not tiny pictures; they were giant frame pictures. And my cousin that's in there is the record breaker for the smallest ones at that time.
Do you remember how big she was?
Dude, she was so tiny.
She was like 4 pounds.
She was
4 or smaller.
smaller than 4 pounds.
Oh, boy.
She was so tiny.
No, she was a preemie, so
She was a preemie. It was an emergency. This was a family that like came after we've already been here for a few years. My family was the first one to ever immigrate here, and yeah, it was obviously a tough birth and all that shit.
Mhm.
She survived, thank God. She's
still
she,
alive.
correct. So the reason I bring her up is because on my last trip to Colombia, I'm watching Netflix at one of my aunt's house. Everything's in fucking. What is all these Korean things? She goes, I'm using your cousin's Netflix, and she
And
goes,
she's been
she
like
loves
down
she
the
goes-
rabbit hole.
She
Like-
goes, she goes, not even the rabbit hole. She goes like all her friends are Korean. She loves Korean everything. And I go, that's cool. Like
Yeah.
she grew up in Canada after that.
Okay.
Like, that's
Yeah.
like they came here and tried to get the citizenship. The United States was like, nah, dog, we're good. So
North
a
of the
lot
border,
of-
they'll take you up
yeah,
there.
so
Pretty good.
Canada
Yeah.
immediately and she's back in the US because
Oh, cool.
she got her degrees and all this stuff,
Mhm.
and she got a medical job in Oregon.
But she has her like a visa, green card.
Yeah, of course.
She's able to like live and work.
She can do whatever
That's
the fuck
cool.
she wants.
Cool,
Where like
cool.
Oregon Hospital fucking offered her a job, and she's like, "I'll take it."
How long ago was that? Do you know? A couple years?
I know this was the Oregon thing. I talked to them because I was like, "What part of Oregon? You're going to Portland? Like, that's kind of dangerous." So I
Yeah.
kind of gave him like,
Yeah.
like, "This is the camera system you want." I go, "Hey, like, weed is cool there. It's the other crazy drugs that aren't." Because her dad is very conservative. Anyways.
Yeah.
So I got to give a couple pointers because she was back in the States
Mhm.
by herself.
Yeah, without anybody.
Without
in the same
anybody,
culture.
so I can only give
Yeah.
her a couple pointers. Like that place is crazy, but like and she's obviously.
I don't know. I mean, I liked Portland. I only went once, but
how long ago? Portland has changed because that
I
used to
agree.
be like
I
my
agree.
Austin
This-
of like a
yeah,
place
this,
I
this
have
is like
to
10
visit.
years ago. now that I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
about
That,
it.
around that time, I would have loved to visit Portland.
And it was beautiful. It didn't rain that much. We did the Chinese garden. It was our anniversary trip. We drove from there. It was awesome. But we had a really, really good time. Everybody there was so nice. And it's a shame because all the things that you see, like the portrayals of Portland on the news, are all kind of like the downtown area. It's not a very big city. Outside of the downtown area, it's probably still fine. It's probably still a nice place to be to live. So I don't want to shit on Portland too much, but I mean, hey, you know,
Vote. Yeah, exactly. I'll jump on that though. Is shout out to a comedian legendary from Los Angeles, Sam Tripoli. He goes, bro, like it was around the time where Portland you would think was on fire.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Mostly
Antifa was
peaceful.
out there versus fucking Proud Boys. All this crazy shit was going on.
Yeah.
And Sam had a show out there with people, and he's like, "Let's go see where's all
Let's
this
go check it out.
Let's go
Yeah.
to this madness."
Let's
And then he goes,
bring your cameras.
they're like, the locals brought him to like, here's the madness. He goes,
It's like 2 blocks.
he goes,
like, what
yeah,
the fuck?
literally what you just said. He goes, it's this tiny little spot where all this madness is, and that's all you're showing us.
That's all you're
Like,
showing.
we think that it's the craziest thing. So you brought up a good point that even talking to my
Media
aunt
perception.
and uncle
Mhm.
was that I didn't even think about that because it's so true. It was just like, and yeah, that is true because I was just like, listen, out there's crazy. So like I was kind
Oh
of
my
giving the feedback of like
God.
those 2 blocks.
Yeah, well, check it out. My wife and her family are going. I could probably break the seal on it too. I'm surprising her by showing up in Salt Lake City.
Your wife?
Yeah, because their whole
This is so cool.
like my mother-in-law's whole side of the family has taken a ski trip because my brother-in-law is a pilot and he's been in the desert for like 5 months, longer than he was supposed to be, Air Force pilot.
Okay.
And so he's like, I want to go snow skiing. And so they rented a house.
Desert as Middle East.
Yeah. He's been in the UAE for the last like 4 months. He's supposed to be coming home. So great. Great for him, great for the family. And so like his wife and their baby, and then his sister and her husband and the parents, and they rented a big house in Ogden, Utah, which is about 30 minutes north of Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
And so my wife is taking our daughter that day. It's like New Year's Day.
So my question is,
They're going.
why weren't you supposed to be there?
Well, I mean, there's more to the story, right?
Sorry.
So I, at the time that she said everybody was going, I was like, well, I can't take off because I have one counterpart at work, and we're supposed to cover for
And
each
they
other.
requested
We have all
first.
these programs and projects that need to be done. There needs to be somebody available. Well, my counterpart quit recently.
Oh my god, that's even
So
worse.
so it doesn't matter because I just have all this work now that I'm making sure is done before
With the ability to
Right.
take off if you need to,
before the first of the year.
without the restriction
Right.
of the counterpart coverage.
Correct.
You
So
can do whatever the fuck you
that
want.
excuse is gone. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to bust my hump, get it all done, make sure there's nothing that I have to be available for New Year's through the Thursday. So it's Monday through Thursday. So
Have you been working really hard?
Mhm. So I'm going to go for just part of the time that the rest of the group is going to be there. But check this out. My daughter's never been on skis before, and
Pizza.
it's time. So
Oh,
I'm
like
going to
pizza.
be giving her first dose of snow skiing
That is
in
beautiful.
Utah
That
with
is
her
so-
family, and I'm surprising
And you're
them.
surprising.
And the only person that knows about it is my mother-in-law. So, and of course, you folks out there on Wisdom
How
and on the
fucking
internet.
cool is that? You're hearing a live spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler.
That's a beautiful
My wife
story,
doesn't
man.
listen to this shit, so
No, she doesn't. You know what's cool is that most significant others don't. But you know what like really got me is teaching your daughter.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
that's-
I'm thrilled. So
and I'll throw this out there because like for some of you that have been with us all these 40 plus 50 episodes,
53 is this one.
53 is this
53.
one is like his daughter is one of the most the examples of, and I'm trying to think of the right word, exemplary. What is it called? What do you have?
Exemplary.
Yeah, like
She's great. She's
You
great.
did-
And
you-
she's a quick
You
learner.
guys did it right.
We did it right.
You guys
did it
did it right.
She's not a shithead like most of her classmates.
I have a high standard for children. Super high, because I have two little brothers that were fucking gangsters, that were bilingual by the time they were 4, and
Yeah.
they were mature and they can handle my little brother knew about tank theories and fucking battle theories by 10. It was wild, and he's in the military now.
Yeah.
And your daughter is one of those that shines above the rest. And I say that to you.
That's a
I
massive
say
compliment.
that to
Thank
you because not as like you're my friend and you're my podcast host, you're someone that I have love for. It's just that you need to hear that if you haven't
Yeah.
heard it recently, because she is there's a lot of children.
There's a lot of
There's not
bad kids out there.
I'm not giving that praise out
Yeah.
to a lot of children, but your daughter is one of the few that brings a joy when you see them instead of an annoyance.
Yeah.
Instead of like not even acknowledging them, but like sometimes some kids are just there in the background.
Mhm.
Or it's
That's a
just
good
a
point.
kid.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
they're
this,
doing their thing.
or it gets bad where they're the fucking nuisance.
Yeah.
Which that goes on the parents. I don't even blame them.
I'm sorry, but we know people close to us that
Yeah.
their kids are like, they really do steal the show in the wrong way. And,
Yeah,
and so
definitely.
that tremendous compliment.
Which I guess would lead up is like, not lead up, but I guess the right word is I can't wait to see what that leads to.
Yeah.
Like, and
She's too smart for her own good.
Is that what it is?
At this point? Well, I mean, I think she does very well in school, but she is starting to have that kind of lack of respect for authority, and I kind of know where she gets it.
Okay.
Because I have a very strict upbringing. I'm like in line, and my wife's side of the family is more like, do whatever you can get away with.
She's advanced.
Yeah.
So an advanced person, because I felt I was too, right? Like for example, and now go back to my little brothers. One example was, someone brought over a child one time. I'll never forget this, to like our apartment, and Spanish families like always have company and stuff, and the child was maybe 2 years. My brother was maybe 4 to 5 years old. Okay. The child they brought over was like 3, something like that. And like when they were leaving, like he stopped them at the place, and he's like, like he may have a toy that he's not supposed to have.
Okay.
Like my point is, going back to your daughter, based just on that little example, is kids that are that advanced, it's not the disrespect for authority, it's more of the world is slow for them, where they're so advanced for their age that the actions that they're given to them by the world or adults is not enough. Where it may seem like disrespect, but they are just, where at that point it's having an honest conversation with them. You're really smart, but like you understand, like sometimes you hurt someone's feelings and all that shit. And I'm not trying to parent or teach anything like that, but it's just like I've met her, and she is really an extraordinary child. Like, and I don't say that about
anyone,
dude. Like it. Oh, and the reason I brought up the little brother thing is because the mother at the end goes like, she's like, it was wild. We were just about to leave. And fucking little kid came up, and I didn't even know he fucking knew full sentences. He gave me a whole speech on that. I'm like, hey,
holding that in the holster.
Yeah,
for how
like
long?
I had to check my kid and shit.
Well, yeah, I appreciate the,
and I don't mean to like,
you certainly have kind of seen things closer to the way that I see things as a parent, and that
from a different angle.
That to me is a win. But the other thing is, like, you can feel free to give me advice on how things are going from your perspective.
I don't want to call it advice.
It's advice. It's not perspective. It's not guidance.
Okay, that's. I always thought advice meant guidance. So explain that to me.
Advice is like, this is what you need to do.
I don't like that. I got in trouble for that as a young man.
Yeah,
I learned that the hard way.
Let me give you some advice, and a lot of it has to do with the approach and the tone and things like that. But I think when you give guidance, it's more like, this is what I would do. This is what I would encourage with your daughter or your son, you know. And
Did it make sense what I said, or
yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit?
I think it did. Yeah. I mean, if it didn't make sense to you, it still makes sense to me.
No. I just and I worry about shit like that because like it literally. At one time, I was flowing in life, and I thought that I was doing the right thing. It was literally someone that I had, the person that introduced me to this person, the person that introduced me to, I love to this day.
Yeah.
Fucking, I wore a yarmulke at his fucking wedding.
Oh, great.
I've been part of his wedding. I love him to death. We're about a fucking 15-year-old difference, I think, in age or some shit.
Wow.
It's one of my best friends in life. And someone he introduced us to that he was close to, I'll just tell you a quick story. Someone that's a professional, all this shit. On the side, he was doing some naughty stuff with, like, at that time, marijuana, we'll say. And he got in trouble.
Yep.
And whatever. And I was young, I was fucked, but in my mid-20s, I was living a good life.
Sure.
Living in high rise in downtown Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Shout out ADT for giving me that life. He got in trouble legally and all this stuff. But during this process of all that shit, we went out, had a good time. I thought at that point in life, living where I'm living, doing what I'm doing, I could just say shit like, hey, maybe feel this way type of thing. And I've never had that backlash of like, don't speak about shit.
Things that you don't know about.
Like, yeah. And
it's a perspective that.
But it came from a good place is where it hurt, where I'm like, oh, I need to learn that because I need to shut the fuck up on certain things.
You know. And
so sometimes when I want to compliment and do things like that, like I may over like protect it before I say it.
Sure. Because
maybe that event scarred.
Yeah, you don't want to do that again.
I was like, oh man, I felt so bad. Him and his wife looked at me like I was evil, and I'm just. It came from the best place of like, everything's gonna be okay.
Coming from a place of
love. And that hurt. That one hurt. But that one also taught me is like, hey, people don't need your advice all the time. Shut the fuck up.
That's true. Sometimes you just want to sit and wait and see what happens.
I like listening.
Yeah, listening is way more important.
Thank
you hear that, listeners?
But I appreciate that conversation. I had to let you know that because, like,
well, thank you.
Truly, you guys did something special there. That's cool. And it should be acknowledged.
It's not easy to do, but
absolutely
if you do it the right way.
Because there's kids her age at parties that aren't even close to like. Yeah, you can literally say that, but like, just the maturity level and the ability to talk to an adult and someone like, and we've talked about him before, like a Louis J. Gomez, his kid, when I see him.
It's not Louis, it's Louis.
Oh my God, that's so freaking. Clip that. No, shout out to him and his son. It's the same thing. It's like he's almost 10 now. He's never had a cell phone and stuff like that.
That's probably good.
And he always talked about how some adults are like, wow, it's crazy how this kid looks at you in the eyes and has a conversation with you.
Do not dumb down your vocabulary for your children. Make them catch up.
Of course.
Make them catch up.
Of course. I agree with that. I think that's awesome.
Look at me when I'm talking to you. I'm going to look at you.
Correct. And that's the thing.
Look, let's have a dialogue.
He's like, people all the time tell me this kid can have a conversation. Or he doesn't feel like it's a kid you're talking to.
Yeah.
Looking at your eyes.
Right.
And that I think has to do with like limiting a little bit of the.
No, you're a part of the conversation. You do not have like screen time right now. You're with us, and we're not going to let you off the hook. You're talking to us. We are part of. We're all part of this conversation.
I don't know how we got into parenting, but that was pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
What else?
Wait.
What shows and movies have you seen? Let's go back. What shows and movies?
I got four movies I can recommend in different ways. The first is Thanksgiving. Okay, so this is Eli Roth. I saw this on a whim because Thanksgiving. Yeah. So the great part about this movie, and I did not remember. Do you remember Grindhouse from about 15 years ago, 16 years ago?
Movie?
Well, there were two movies.
Oh, you're talking about Grindhouse?
Grindhouse
with Tarantino.
They put them together. It was
Tarantino.
and the other director
Alex
was Robert
Rodriguez from
yeah,
what's the black and white
Predators
movie?
and fucking.
His biggest movie of all time is Black
I thought it was.
Motherfucking the one
No,
where
I thought it was El Mariachi. I thought it was fucking
no,
Desperado.
what's the black and
What
white
was the
one?
black and white one? that
No,
Robert Rodriguez-
motherfucker, the black and white one that everybody knows. It's
Yep, you do it, producer. Anyway, so this movie,
Sin City.
Sin City, that was him.
That's Robert Rodriguez. Yeah, that's his biggest. That's a pretty big frame.
Frank Miller's.
Oh wait, I might be wrong.
No, that's just he was the guy who did the graphic novel before it was. So
Oh.
I believe you. I understand that. Way off the mark.
I might
Sin
be
City
wrong.
was good.
I might be wrong.
Second one was not good.
I might be wrong.
So Thanksgiving was one of the joke trailers in between the Grindhouse movies, because when they released Grindhouse, they did one movie and they had like a mission, and it had these joke trailers. It was
Which I saw.
movies who could like a
Machete.
Machete,
Hobo
with a shotgun,
with a shotgun.
Werewolf Women of the SS,
I kind of remember that one.
Thanksgiving,
I do not remember Thanksgiving.
and Don't,
don't remember
which is
Don't.
like, you thinking about going to the basement? Don't. You know, there might have been more than that. But that's what I remember.
Now
So
the Grindhouse was
it was
a play based off a Tarantino movie.
no,
right?
Grindhouse was a fucking culture back in the 70s. It was a cheap theater that people would, you know, if you were underage, if you were too young to go, you try to sneak into it. And they were always like exploitation films. It was always poorly made, poorly budgeted, but the splattered zombie movies or like biker movies. A lot of these are in like Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez movies in the background, right? It's just like, oh, you're watching that movie. Of course, it's a fucking Grindhouse movie. But anyway, Grindhouse in 2007 was those two movies. It was, like one of them was a zombie movie, one of them was Death Proof. It was Planet Terror was the zombie one, and then Death Proof was the one with Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell, yeah. It's fucking Escape from LA.
So they actually made Hobo with a Shotgun.
It was directed by Robert Rodriguez. Was Sin City.
Yeah. They made Hobo with a Shotgun. They made Machete. They made Machete Kills, which is the sequel.
Which is shout out to one of the legendary do-it-all actors in Hollywood,
Danny Trejo.
Danny fucking Trejo, bro.
I don't.
And if you guys
fucking
love
fucking heat.
You're going down the movie scene. I was gonna say, if you want to see Danny Trejo for who he is, you pull up an archive of an old. It's called The Church of What's Happening Now, which is no longer a podcast, but it's one of the most legendary podcast series of all time. One of Joe Rogan's favorite, which he's appeared on. Some of the greatest podcasts on people taking mushrooms and LSDs and all this crazy shit.
Word.
But Danny Trejo being on there, you get to see a quality human being. That is one of the best dudes.
He's totally reformed.
Ever.
He went to prison. He came out. Boom.
And I'm happy that Grindhouse, I think, set off his career, which he already had a significant career of just showing up and shit.
Yeah.
That's what kind of Grindhouse is kind of funny, of throwing him in there and just like starting role, which he normally wasn't the starter. He was always like a side guy.
That's Mexican. True. I think it was his first starting.
That's my
point. Which like, now he's a main character. I mean, he's
Danny fucking Trejo.
He's pushing,
you know who he is.
He's pushing 80. He doesn't look that old. I mean, his face is very wrinkly, but I mean, he doesn't act like he's close to 80 years old.
And to see a former gangster and who he is and his work is like that.
Respect.
If you see the Church of What's Happening Now, shout out Joey Diaz, Danny Trejo episode, you get to see a really cool human being in their purest form. That's my.
Go check it out. Getting guest requests here on the Wisdom app.
What is
shout
that?
Out to you. I don't know. I don't use. Well, we're not doing a show.
How many do we have live?
10.
All right, cool. I shared.
What did I see? So I saw Thanksgiving. It's like Scream, but like holiday time. And there's a lot of like.
Did you enjoy it?
It was very funny. It was very good. But
with funny?
Yeah.
And murder?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Scream was hilarious.
That's awesome.
So the reason I saw it was the wives and the kids went to see the Trolls movie.
Okay.
So, and we get free tickets every now and then just from getting the Regal app or whatever. So I took Neil, and we were laughing the whole time. It's bloody. It's funny.
Did he enjoy it?
Yeah, he liked it.
Neil's a hard critic on anything.
Yeah, it's true. But we were like, oh my god, that was awesome. That was
awesome.
That was gross. Okay.
Thanks, you.
Killers. Yeah,
Still in the theater?
it's still in theaters. Yeah. Killers of the Flower Moon. So this is the new Martin Scorsese movie.
Oh, and the Indians, 3.5 hours.
It's like 3.5 hours, like 3:25 or something like that. It is a brutal slog because it's so goddamn depressing.
I didn't think the story was interesting enough for me to spend that time in the movie about this.
Yeah.
But that's what I personally thought. I might be wrong.
No. It was a well-made movie. I don't think I'll ever watch it again. Yeah. I mean, I love everything he makes, but at the same time,
I did not like The Irish.
Again, I think he had to sit there for too long.
Yeah, I did not. And the remake up thing of the young stuff.
Yeah.
I get it. You're trying to
de-aging, right?
De-aging.
Yeah,
That's a great word.
The future.
Now, can I bring up a point?
Of course.
About your movie?
Yeah.
The second one you mentioned, which made me laugh so hard, is that in articles it came out that him and De Niro were in it, right?
Yeah. And DiCaprio, he's the star.
Right? Wait. He's coming up.
Okay.
In this
All
story.
right.
Now, these two, Scorsese and De Niro, would look at each other like,
yeah, I read that too.
Because of fucking Leonardo DiCaprio's fucking persistence of just writing his own or just doing it the way he improvising.
Yes. And so De Niro,
which most people love, and he's probably done it great at other times, but in this case, it was annoying.
Yeah.
For them to publicly talk about it.
You don't need that extra line you put in. You don't need that.
We don't.
You don't need.
We don't need to talk about that. You're dead.
You
got shot.
You're not fucking listening to me. You can. De Niro's like fucking smoking a cigarette, like in Goodfellas. He's like, fucking told you.
I wish that's a fly in the room situation of like seeing DiCaprio going all fucking crazy and seeing the two legends just like.
Scorsese's already written books, but I don't care about those. I care about like his assistant director. I care about the guy who's there, like doing the work, like telling the camera people where to put stuff, and then he's listening to all the side conversations. That's going to be the jam. The Holdovers. This is a really, really cool little movie. So it's Paul Giamatti. He plays a boarding school professor.
I can see him playing that.
He gets like shoved into the role of playing like caretaker to 5 or 6 students who can't go home because of a snowstorm during Christmas.
Okay.
So it's like them and the cook, this big black lady. And she has just lost her son in Vietnam. So it gives you the time frame. It's like 1971. And so.
What is this rated?
R.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. You're gonna lose me.
Yeah.
All right.
No, good, very funny comedy drama. And Giamatti does.
So she lost the kid.
Everybody in the movie. No. She lost her son in Vietnam. The movie is them kind of having to bond. They're at the boarding school. None of them like each other.
Totally different worlds.
Yeah. And the kids are fucking rich.
Yeah, they're all rich as shit.
The professor or the teacher is like, this is his only job. He took it right out of college, and she's like, I'm just working to stay alive, And so it's a really interesting dynamic. It was directed by the guy that did like Sideways and
we heard good things about Sideways.
The Descendants, which is one of my favorite movies.
What's
Clooney plays like this he's a lawyer, I think, but it's Hawaii, and he's not like super rich, but he has like family lineage back to like Hawaiian king. Yeah. So he is entitled to all this land. He has like 100 acres of land in his family, and he's not allowed to do anything without the rest of the family saying you can do it. He's like, I'm not selling. That's the whole movie. He's like him dealing with like his wife being in the hospital and his family, like he has 2 girls and he has to deal with them. But all of the rest of his family, his extended family, wants him to sell the land. And he's like, I'm not doing it. So watch The Descendants, good movie. Holdovers, good movie. And then my last one is, of course, Napoleon.
You saw
it. I seen it.
Shout out Shane Gillis. He thinks Napoleon's his second favorite general. Robert E. Lee, I think, is his first, or
Bold
maybe,
choice.
or maybe not Robert E. Lee. Which one's the other one? That
Ulysses S. Grant.
Yes, Grant.
I would agree with that. Well, I mean,
it was Grant.
All right.
Grant fucked up
We're-
himself.
You got Eisenhower, you got Grant, you got Schwarzkopf, Desert Storm, Rock and Roll, Tommy Franks, Desert Storm 2, and then Napoleon.
You think so?
Yes.
Now, I've recently only tiptoed around Napoleon history because he showed up in the 48 Laws of Power.
Mm-hmm. He probably wrote half of
those. And he didn't show up. The guy that tricked him the second time he was in exile showed up.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, oh, that was a move. like so
Yeah.
I've learned about Napoleon backwards.
That's probably the right way to do it.
Which almost is the right way to do it,
yeah.
because it almost makes me like,
You already
where
know
did
the
you
ending.
fuck up?
You know, yeah.
Where did you fuck up? Because you did some incredible shit. Now, all that being said,
I was extremely entertained. There is a lot of like blood and guts in it, but there's also a lot of sex in it. So it's a Ridley Scott like opus. So yeah, definitely go see it. It's definitely worth the time, and it's not as long as the Scorsese ones. This was only like 2.5 hours, but you needed all that time to get it. And I hear that when it comes out on digital, or I don't think they still make Blu-rays or whatever, but it's a 4-hour cut.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, and
That's
it's
really
the
deserved.
historical drama, like terrific. And most of it, from what I understand, is as close to historically accurate as they could get it, without actually being. They consulted like French historians that have only focused on Napoleon for their entire careers, and they're like, yeah, this is what we understood it to be, down to the letter. So take that for what it is. I know Ridley Scott takes some creative flourishes sometimes, but I mean, Gladiator was like a dream he had. He's like, I'm just gonna take that dream and make it, you know, probably his most famous movie besides Alien.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Gladiator had dreams of sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's where it started.
That's what I'm saying. Like, for me to even know that, like, that's how famous that dream sequence is.
Right.
It's probably the most famous sequence maybe of all time. It's up there, top 3 for sure. Maybe number. Damn, there was something I was gonna say about Napoleon, but I already lost my train of thought. So you did like it.
It was good. There's only one other thing I want to mention about it. There's this part where I'm not giving anything away because it's history, right? The spoiler alerts have already been going out for a couple hundred years. A couple hundred years, I mean, give or take. But there's this moment where Joaquin Phoenix, and he does a great job.
I love me some Joaquin. Is he Napoleon?
Yes.
What? I didn't even know that.
He slaps Vanessa Kirby.
In the ass?
No, he slaps her in the face.
Hard.
And it's not in the script. He slaps her and she just goes with it. And it is loud and it is hard. And it's in front of all these other actors.
To be honest,
and they don't break the take. That's
shouldn't.
That's it. And no one knew it was gonna happen.
Bro, there is a story that just came out about a famous movie where the slap was improvised. And I can't think of it right now.
Yep.
But it's the exact same fucking thing where like that wasn't in the script.
Nope.
But it was so perfect. I think Snoop Dogg got slapped. and I know it sounds so funny.
And now I don't believe you.
Now it sounds so funny because of all the people I could have said like it was a serious movie. But it was
Snoop.
Where Snoop was this? It was a black actor where he goes, he slapped.
If it was Denzel, I believe.
He goes, he slapped the shit. It might have not been Snoop. It'll come back to me because it was recent, but I laughed so hard.
Guess on.
I laughed so hard because of how hard he slapped. It wasn't in the script. And to be honest,
got him.
My brain is going. I think the person that slapped was Vince Vaughn.
No.
God damn, I gotta think of what movie this is.
It's not old school because they're both in that.
Oh, there was a slap where they said it wasn't in the script, And do you want this one?
Yeah,
or
that's
this
fine.
one?
No, orange is good. That Bengali is good. Thank you.
This is.
The Super's good. Super's easier.
The orange
We're drinking
one's
the
better
six
for
point mixed pack tonight. Go see 6 Point from Brooklyn, New York. It's terrific.
Shout out to 6 Point.
Yep. So yeah, go see Napoleon. It's worth it. I know it's 2.5 hours of your life you won't get back, but
It's a little bit of history,
that's a good
guys.
investment.
You gotta understand that Napoleon was one of the most gangster motherfuckers that ever.
It's written in the history books exactly that way.
He accomplished some of. Let me rephrase that. To a lot of people, he's one of the most intelligent military brains that has ever walked the earth.
Yeah.
And his way to the power and the speed that he did it at, and his accomplishments are legendary. Absolutely legendary.
Yeah, he went from like middle of leadership. One battle, he got a general, he got a brigadier general ranking. Within like 10 years, he was running the country.
Shout out to Putin, because that's exactly what, like, not exactly, but it's that same type of thing. You can come from the bits.
Yeah, I mean, Vlad's listening right now. So
he always listens to the show.
we have to make
We
sure that
always have a Moscow listener, and we know it's Vlad.
we know it's boy. We Joe Biden, what are you doing?
And just this week, the fucking head of Ukraine, he's like, "Hey, yeah, we're no longer on offense. Yeah, we gotta go on heavy defense." And then he had the nerve to say, "We're not getting enough guns and weaponry from the West."
Yeah,
motherfucker, you know how much money you've been sent? Where like our country has a lot of African Americans and immigrants saying, "Why are you sending money over there when our neighborhood need it?" Like,
with the amount of money that's been spent,
It's
U.S.
insane.
money that's been spent in Ukraine, they could have bought another country and just used that.
can I say one thing?
Of course.
It's establishment media or mainstream, whatever you want to call it, their excuse for it. Where am I going? with this?
Keep going, because I got to rearrange my notes here. It's a perfect segue. You're not supposed to say segue, by
No, we can always say
the way.
we gotta let the people.
Yep.
I lost my train of thought,
Oh,
but they have an excuse for.
Not telling the truth.
No, I lost my train of thought.
Oh,
We'll go-
shoot.
well, let's go. It'll come back
Okay,
because I don't want to just throw something out there.
since we're pivoting, we're talking about politics now. So
Shout out to Buffalo Trace because that helps me lose my train of thought.
that's my plain whiskey. It's almost always available on planes. If I get a drink on a plane, it's always Buffalo Trace.
You are the candle wax man. You are
Candle wax, absolutely,
loyal
100%.
to
Loyal to
loyal
Maker's Mark.
to Maker's Mark.
Yep.
I
I'm an
respect
ambassador.
it.
I got the business
He's
card.
a fucking ambassador. He got me to love Maker's Mark. I taught Colombians that bourbon was about Maker's Mark. To be honest, I've taught a lot of Colombians about Maker's Mark because that's usually the first bourbon that I introduce. However, you're a Maker's Mark household.
Yeah.
My household is Buffalo.
Buffalo.
I have to follow Buffalo because I've tried the goodness of a Pappy's on my lips. I've tried and love a Bland's on my lips. And
Rye or no rye?
no rye.
Mm.
But I would love that
Mhm.
Hebrew rye. What were we
Hey,
talking about?
Hey.
We have not Hebrew, it's kosher. I thought it was the wrong word.
I mean,
Just this mesh being the same as Bland's just always gave me that respect towards it.
It's nice and smooth. I like the content. You know, it lets you know when you're.
I think yours is a little sweeter.
Yeah,
and,
that's true.
And I love that. I'm not. You introduced me to the red wax more than anyone, and I appreciate it so much.
It's
That's
unique.
why I was introduced it to people that they're like, "Hey, Colombians are huge whiskey drinkers." However,
I didn't know that.
Colombians with a budget,
Yeah,
they love them some whiskey, but the whiskeys are usually Scotch and single, you know,
Single,
like some fucking for some reason, one of the most popular Hispanic fucking liquors is Buchanan's.
Really?
It's fucking wild.
Okay.
It shouldn't
Yeah.
be.
Well,
Because I like Glenlivet, like, and like the people that have realized that there's better stuff above Buchanan.
Yes.
Go to lean towards that shit. But they don't understand a bourbon, a corn-based alcohol that came from America. Because what do they think about American liquor? They think of fucking Jack. That's what the whole world
too
thinks about. Yeah. Fucking American whiskey's a goddamn Jack Daniels, which is great with a Jack and Coke, and that may be your thing. I've never liked Jack Daniels. I think it's okay.
It's super smoky, and it tastes like it's been lit on fire, and that's fine.
All right, I'll go with the second part because I like smoky drinks.
Yeah.
No, but Jack is fire all the time.
Yeah. Agreed.
Something's on fire with Jack. But a bourbon, to introduce it to a whiskey drinker that's never experienced a bourbon because they think American whiskey's Jack, it's cool to see that. And what have I done that with the most? It hasn't been Trace. It's been Makers. It's been Makers. And I love that sweetness of Makers.
Yeah, Makers is a good thing to make like Manhattans and old fashions with, because you still get that unique flavor of the Makers bourbon. It's not lost on anything, no matter what you add to it. But I typically drink it straight, and I like the taste.
Ice or no ice?
Usually no ice.
Wow, just
straight up. And
warm and like sipping or shots?
I wouldn't take shots of Makers.
Guys, you're learning from someone who's a fucking ambassador for the brand. And by ambassador, you get special privileges of private tours, special access to barrel. You had a fucking barrel.
Yeah, I do have a barrel.
But COVID somehow did something to it. Let's remind the listeners.
I was supposed to get 2 bottles from the barrel that was inscribed with the day that I joined the fan club.
Do you understand that? You're about to get your own bottle from your own barrel that only a limited amount of people ever touch that liquor.
And so I didn't get to go because of the pandemic. And
shout out to COVID and the Chinese food. Go ahead.
I think that's good. But you're talking about pandemics and things like that.
Did you get the bottles? Let's tell the listeners.
I didn't.
Can you get them?
I can't. It's gone.
If you call them, they're someone drank them. Because
if I had gone during the window, during 2020 when everything was shut
down.
You
get a window. Explain to us
I had like a 2-month window where I could go to the distillery
to get your special reserve bottle
and hand dip them in the wax and all that stuff. And because they were closed, I didn't get the opportunity to do that.
Then did they reimburse you?
I asked them about a makeup date, and they're like, "Nope, can't do it." Because
what happened to that barrel?
It got recycled or broken down or whatever they do with it.
Unless you made it during the pandemic when we didn't know if we were going to die or not. You had to make it to Kentucky from Florida. That was the only way you were getting a bottle. Now, my question was, were they open if you were to go make that trip? Hey, Makers Mark, we're going to clip this.
No choice.
So we can fix this fucking issue because that's fucking insane.
I think about it all the time.
That is insane, Makers Mark. You fucked over my friend. Did you get a refund?
I didn't have to pay for it, so no.
Because it was just part of being an ambassador.
Yeah.
But you have to pay to be an ambassador.
No. You just sign up. And after
they approve it or whatever they do,
8 years or something that your barrel has to mature, then you can go and get your bottles.
Guys, we're gonna clip this. We have to because Trevor needs his bottle. That he needs it.
Good. I got bottles.
Deserves it. No. He has bottles. That's not the point. He deserves it. This man fucking went through the journey of doing what you're supposed to do, and then an unexpected crisis kicked in. What are we talking about?
Unexpected.
Totally unexpected. This wasn't a fucking gimmick or a scam to try to get extra bottles. This is just doing the right thing. So, Makers, I will clip this. I'm going to send this to your social people. I'm going to share this and just do the right thing and hook up Trevor with.
Yeah. If you can.
No. I know you can.
Hey, how about this? Restart the process.
I know you can.
Restart the process and
that's him being nice to do what he's saying.
Put my name on a new barrel and I'll kind of do it.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
I'll
Click that. Producer.
One of your longest serving ambassadors out here.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane, and that's it. Almost makes me mad when I want to say bad shit, but I won't because I do really like your product, and I would have not respected it as much as I would have if it wasn't for you.
Just
so you're a good ambassador.
Yeah, you have to be. You got to be a diplomat, especially when you're not paid, because you don't know when you're gonna run into a situation where
Hey, Trevor gives me the best gifts, and they're usually a whiskey. It's never been Makers. That's what I'm saying is that like he represents you guys to the fullest of
we keep it close.
Bourbons when it's that case. He likes to surprise me with shit like I never tried the Irish whiskey.
You never tried the Bushmills?
I never tried Bushmills till you gave it.
Yeah.
And,
well, that's my favorite.
I love me some Bushmills. I love
my wife likes Jameson, so it's hard to do because I gotta keep her happy.
I'm from New Jersey, bro. There's no one in New Jersey that drinks Bushmills. We all drink Jameson.
Well, the thing about Bushmills is it's from Northern Ireland.
What does that mean?
Or the north of Ireland, depending on where you stand, because it's part of the UK. We use pounds. Northern Ireland separate from the rest of Ireland because of the troubles and all these things. The rest of Ireland.
That was the Catholic side, right? Northern was Catholic.
They're the Proddies.
Hey, I just did the most famous thing that you can do in podcasting, which is spill your beer.
All right.
Now tell me about the Proddies. Oh, the Protestants are
yeah.
And that's where this whiskey's from?
The rest of Ireland is famously Catholic, right? And they still have Catholics north of the border, but that's where Bushmills is from. It's from, close to the coast, as far north as you can get.
You may or may not know this, or this may be a stupid question.
What's that?
Did that affect Bushmills as a product, being where they're from?
I don't think so.
No,
it's a small distillery. I don't think so.
I'm getting you a paper towel.
Yeah. Well, take care of what's going on over there.
Hey, you're gonna call again.
All right. So since he asked me to, if you go to Sleeps, that's SLEEFS.com, get yourself some arm sleeves or cleat spats or anything like that you need to work out or play football. They have great shorts. They have great. They actually have leg sleeves now. You could.
So you can represent the team that you.
You can.
What?
I have some sleeves that are now basically illegal because they were made prior to. So they're UCF sleeves, and they're digital camo, but they're from a company called Operation Hat Trick, doing a collaboration with sleeves. They don't make them anymore because UCF has locked down their brand. You have to go through any of their specific
distributors or whatever,
approved distributors to get their product.
But before that,
it was before that, and I still have them. So I wear them to games, and people are like, "Where did you get those?" And I'm like,
"Wow!" So sleeves can't sell those anymore.
They don't make them.
But guys,
you can get
the whole point.
You can get a University of Florida one. You can get an FSU.
Those are there.
Oh yeah, because they don't have the same rules as UCF does.
Then
exclusivity is what drives up value.
So Sleeves still has certain licenses for certain teams. What you're telling me? I did not even expect to hear that. That is great news.
Yeah.
Go check out if your team is there, because when Trevor wears these things out,
people go nuts.
People go insane
they
because
they
damn always go, "Where did you get that?" And once again, give them the code
OWT25.
OWT25. So thanks again, guys. Those little purchases really do help out the show. So we really do appreciate you guys.
And if you want to be a sponsor, you're a small business owner, you want to do a collaboration, let us know.
Oh,
we're not just hunting for the big fish. We're not just going after like Liquid Death.
No, we want all those, but
Disney could be one, since we have our Grogu over here. We have our Buffalo Trace. We got different things that we have displayed on the show.
Grogu, right?
Grogu?
Some shit like that.
Again, another show I've never watched, but I know.
What's the name of the little guy?
What's the
name of the big guy? Yoda.
Yoda.
Yes,
That's
mini
Baby
Yoda.
Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
All right. So we're talking about pandemics just now, and so news stories from today.
Go
right?
for it.
Are we today? That's the name of our show. I don't think we
Time Capsule Podcast.
Time Capsule Podcast. As of today, the U.S., Sweden, and Switzerland have been hit by a surge of pneumonia cases.
Oh, I wonder where that came
that
from.
they're calling white lung syndrome.
I wonder where that came
It's
from.
also been plaguing China.
Oh, no shit.
The UK is now seeing a sharp uptick in these reported pneumonia cases. The American CDC, of course, is saying that we have nothing to worry about. So, what do you think is going to happen with this? We're getting into kind of the end of the year before an election.
Yeah, I was
Just
going to
like-
say,
just
I was
like
gonna
last
say
time.
2 words, election year.
If I have to stay in Austria because I got trapped there in January,
I mean, these real life situations don't they don't help out people that are against conspiracy theories because it's fucking
it's not
crazy.
a theory.
It's insane.
It's not a theory if it's true.
'Cause yeah, but they show up magically right before again in an election. All right, let's say that all this is legit. It's really happening. So far, they're announcing that it's really attacking children, which is horrible because if you follow historical,
That's true.
Events.
That's a good point. Not to cut you off, but about a third of the cases have been younger children.
I think it's more than that. I thought, and my point is that in any warmongering, let's go just back to. I'm going just on historical data, not so much on like opinion, but before a war starts, a children being hurt or children being attacked, it's always about. I'll give you an example. In the Iraq War, there was a famous hearing, and this is the first Iraq War in the 90s during
Desert Storm.
The famous Desert Storm. There's a famous hearing where some fucking girl came up and she's talking about babies in incubators being smashed. That someone walked in and they were taking babies out of incubators, picking them up, throwing them on the ground, all this crazy shit.
Some of you are old enough to remember this.
It turned out that it was all a lie. And
Never happened.
And it turned out that like that girl was actually like related to like some very famous people on like a political side of the issue in the Muslim world. But the point was, and it's been done since even before, probably even before written history, is that if you put children in danger, people care. Mm-hmm. And this new one coming out of China, and by this new one, we just meaning something crazy coming out of China.
The white lung syndrome.
Whatever the fuck you want to call it,
Of course,
is
it's
affecting children.
Ben Affleck disease.
What did the first COVID thing do? It did not affect young people. It only affected young people if you were really had a compromised immune system and things like that.
That's right.
But for the average young person, it was nothing. It was absolutely nothing. So my point is, and this might be a little conspiratorial, is that it's just showing up at a very inconvenient time. We're not at a very suspicious time because right now we're getting it. If you look back at COVID, we started hearing about COVID in the mainstream around December 2019.
That's right. News stories really on the state side.
December 2019.
Okay.
If you're a Twitter nerd like myself, you may have seen videos of people passing out in China in 2019, maybe around October, November. But you gotta be really, really into social media for you to even understand what that is or what's going on or to know what's coming. Not know what's coming, but just realize that some shit's going down.
It's brewing.
Correct.
Yeah.
This time around, it's like we fixed that it didn't hit children. Mm-hmm. Hitting children, no matter what the cause is always the most emotional driven reaction
It makes people
to
change
anyone.
their minds.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this time we're getting something new where they tell us ahead of time. The first thing I heard from China was it's specifically killing children.
It's December.
And
Before an
it's
election
December, before an election year. So my point is that a lot of people, and you have to pay attention to this, are going to push so hard for mail-in ballots. And the people that push so hard for that, you have to take a step back, see where they belong to, see what their agenda is, because those people are not normal. And I just looked at the election in Argentina. All paper ballots. All paper ballots
So
counted in the same fucking night. So
that's the way it used to be.
that's the way it used to be. And the only thing you had to watch out for was people getting rid of the ballots or adding some on, which can easily be deterred with the proper security.
Argentina is an interesting example because they just elected probably the most unlikely of candidates.
So that's where I'm going with
Right.
this, is that a paper ballot system allows a third party candidate in a country similar to United States where there's only two main parties to get 56% of the fucking vote.
That's how we don't.
That's insane.
Yeah, we don't think about it here because everyone's so used to having two major political parties.
But that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing.
Right, but using paper, making sure that everything is counted one night, takes away the capability for those two major parties to have their bulwark against all of the other things. They are held accountable, right? So it's only as good as the candidate, or it's only as good as the messaging the candidate has. So in Argentina, in this case, 56%, that ain't no joke.
Picked a third party over what would be a Republican and Democrat the past 20 plus years.
So it makes you wonder if there was a candidate who was that popular, doesn't matter what their background and beliefs were. It could be
an RFK if he goes
independent. It could be. He did that. But that it would be possible if we said, as far as election laws in this country, everything has to be paper, has to be counted the same night before a certain time. And it had that's it. That's the count, no changes, and it has to be announced that night.
I agree, and I don't think that anyone that has a basic human this is a normal person would disagree with that. But we're in this country, before even to get into that step, we have to overcome what this country did pre-internet to someone called Ross Perot. Because that
Can I finish?
That fucking pizza man on all that. You remember that shit?
I do.
Like my point is that fucking crazy billionaire from I think Texas. God bless you, fucking Texas,
Ross
because
Perot.
you produce these fucking characters. He exposed that the Democrats and Republicans that were always in front of a camera against each other were the WWE, or as my generation calls it, WWF behind the scenes. They performed a show in front of you, backstage, their friends are having drinks. Ross Perot not only exposed that, but Ross Perot also showed you that other people have ideas that are not a part of these two main parties. And what happened? Both those two main parties got together and made up rules that made it almost impossible
for a third party.
Fuck a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth party to run. That's my point.
Cornel West is broke. He's not going to be able to finish this, the campaign. He's out of money. He's got to bow out.
Jill Stein's coming back, allegedly.
She works for him.
I don't know, but my point is, guys, you can't just go on, we have two choices. Support or not support. Let me rephrase that. Just open your ears and listen to new ideas, especially to the ideas that the television set or your headlines tell you not to listen to.
That's what I forgot.
You have
headline.
We need a headline.
Fuck. All right.
What do we got?
No, I just had
anything else on your
side? Well, yeah, a few other stories, but
go for it.
The one was what I showed you earlier today is that private jets headed to the Dubai
They
global
froze.
warming
I
conference.
showed that to my friends. Yeah,
There's
it
like
was
20
funny.
planes in the Munich airport. They're all frozen. There's so much snow that one plane was like this because all the snow caked up on the tail. And so the nose of the plane is in the
I
air.
didn't even see them.
I saw it live. So the cool thing is, like I said, going skiing in Utah, there's been 8 inches of snow in the last 24 hours. Going skiing in late January in Austria, which is just outside of Munich, they just got 44 centimeters of snow. And it's the biggest dump of snow this early in the year in history.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Well,
I just think it's hilarious that they were on their way to a global warming conference. And,
yeah, I mean that's
like,
what
my joke was that God and the devil got together for coffee last night and said, "We're gonna do this."
That's so big fun.
Fuck them. You're not going to the desert, not today. Oh boy, yeah. I had a few other ones, but did you catch any of the Newsom DeSantis debate the other day? I caught some snippets. I got some snippets, and I was impressed. I was impressed. They held their own against each other.
To be honest, I was impressed by both sides.
That should be the matchup this year. It really should.
Like, I was impressed. Newsom always impresses me because he can lie to your face, and that motherfucker has no change in anything, bro.
He's like,
there's no breathing
listen.
pattern changes. There's no signs of him like showing weakness.
You hook him up, right, to the lie detector,
He'll pass.
and he'll pass. Like he's like steady.
Dude, Newsom deserves credit for being able. He is out of the box, like that guy. That chef, click that.
Sorry,
he's out of the box. A perfect politician.
Yeah,
like this man can sell you anything,
and he's gotten better.
He only gets better.
He only gets better every time. Every time he's on camera, he's like,
that makes sense. The more you practice at something, 10,000 hour rule, all that bullshit. The more you practice something, the better you get. And goddamn, Newsom is a fucking master.
He's a king.
That being said, you took on someone that's really good at debates.
Not very good at like smiling or being good for a camera.
Not even good at just interviews.
Yeah.
Newsom's good at interviews.
He's very good.
But you put a DeSantis in a debate. I saw him debate the crackhead that loves to get gangbanged by big muscle black dudes who was married to a straight woman. I saw him debate that guy.
Yeah.
He dominated. And then the news and his opponent only focused on one thing, which sucked.
What was it?
Which, because he said he would, if you like this guy, it's like throwing a monkey wrench in. So what did the news, who loves the blue side more than anything, and this fucking crazy lunatic who loves to fucking take God knows what from huge black prostitutes, male, while he's a married man to a female, without her knowing. And he was caught doing crazy shit on meth. He's good at debates. Wait, what I was saying. Yeah, he is really
good.
He dominated him in debates. Oh, what threw out his performance and sunshine in that debate against that guy was when he said that if you vote for him, you'll throw a monkey wrench. What do you think they said?
It's monkey.
It's
monkey.
They focused on fucking monkey at a monkey wrench, which is it's an American saying, right?
Monkey wrench?
I've heard it my whole life as an immigrant. You never heard it?
Oh, yeah, I've heard it, but I mean,
he used it in the debate, and they focused on. Of course, he would say that he's racist.
I've never heard of monkey wrench being a racist term, and that's the key: is that it was turned into a racist term.
It took away from a
racist narrative.
Dominated debate on statistic facts and policy,
and then you had
that all they focus on was monkey.
You had Andrew Gillum, who's a young,
There
you
he
know,
is, Andrew Gillum. I
good.
forgot his
Like
goddamn name.
he was near Tallahassee, so he had a really good shot. He was already there, good fan base.
He was a superstar.
Superstar in
Tallahassee. DNC.
Yeah,
the whole entire DNC, not just Tallahassee.
But
he exceeded past that.
And he was found with hell prostitutes and drugs and stuff in South Florida
After he lost
right.
in South Florida,
in
Miami, he was
right.
found in his own throw up, maybe someone else's throw up, but I think it was reported it was his own.
Right.
Passed out on heavy drugs, not weed. I don't even think it was coke. It was some fucking crazy drugs that these motherfuckers doing. And what is Andrew Gillum like? He like very muscular male prostitutes. Which I say it that way because that's how it was described to me. And that's different than just saying a prostitute. I can just imagine that he loved his muscular fucking God knows what. And I bring that up because
that's like the Kevin Spacey of politicians. Like only after you're exposed do you say, "Oh, this is my life." Like this is.
and he didn't. That also pissed me off because he didn't even come out as this is my kind of.
It took a while. He went on a news show.
It's almost like his wife accepted that. Yeah, no. I know he likes to take huge black cock, like the most muscular kind you can find. Yeah, that's what Andrew likes. It wasn't just normal gay stuff. He went for like
the wife was like,
he went for a tank. Yeah, we're going car shopping. This motherfucker went for a nuclear submarine in the gay world of what he enjoyed when he was not supposed to be doing what he's doing. That bothered me.
It was after he wasn't alive.
Correct.
So
because they were trying to push him up as we can try to bring him back because we put so much into this guy. We put so much into this guy. We can't just lose him. Let's try with the wife.
Yeah. Look, I mean, DeSantis only has a few more years as governor, so there's always a possibility to go back to that seat.
I think 28 is his year.
Yeah, I think he has more. I think Gillum has potential still within the party, within the Democratic Party.
They're insane, so of course, yes.
So he could probably come back next election cycle and run for House of Representatives or something in any state.
That's maybe it has to stay in Florida.
I think so because I mean,
I would hit you up if I'm your opponent. Unless you're the dumb fucking manager, is this guy had to move out of his state?
No, I mean, you can take some time off and reinvent yourself as a politician. That's not hard.
I'm going to attack you all day.
You think he's going to move to Miami
wherever
and say, "This is where I got arrested. I'm not afraid of it anymore."
Like, Miami is very open, especially now with California. Crazy good shit. That's okay, and I'm okay with that. Whatever. What I'm saying, if he moves states, I'm killing you. You have to move a state to run because of how bad you
can go to California. You can go to Missouri. Probably move to Austin.
No, Missouri's done. Austin's the bluest part of Texas.
Baltimore.
Oh, of course. Anything that's a blue insane city, Chicago, would be the mayor. Who the fuck knows?
Oh God, I didn't even have.
I
have so many stories
about. She retired. She's now a Harvard professor.
I know.
With the Lightfoot.
Lori Lightfoot, God bless her.
Shane Gillis loved her.
She jumped out. I mean, she got beat, honestly, and then she decided to become a Harvard professor. I don't want to say like failing up in a nutshell, but where else can you be it's the third biggest city in the country? And
Boston?
No, Chicago.
Okay.
So she runs that for 4 years and then
horribly, by the way.
Right.
She dressed up in costumes as like the
Pennywise?
Probably, but she was the anti-COVID person. I forgot. She had a nickname.
I never knew about that at all.
Oh my God! On next episode, we're starting with fucking her.
Make a note, because
I got it.
Okay, cool.
You never saw Lori Lightfoot as a COVID fighter?
No, I did not. Did she wear a cape?
I think she did.
Okay.
It's the most insane shit you'll ever see.
Legitimate. Anyway.
My problem is with, and I'm sorry to interrupt, my problem is the voter base. chooses another person from her same team,
Mm-hmm.
puts him in. They get the same results as Chicago still being the reputation Chicago has. And then this motherfucker just last week comes out and says that
It's white supremacy.
our problems have to do with the last mayor, who's my fucking protege. Like, not protege, who's my mentor. Yeah, like, what are we talking about? And then I don't even blame them anymore. It's your voters.
Yeah.
You guys are dumb. Like, not dumb, but like, you get what you vote for. If that's what you guys like, it's not dumb, it's what you like. It's what you like. You're gonna keep getting the same.
You get what you deserve, or you get what you get.
You get what you deserve. Not you get what you get. That wasn't random. You voted for this fucking lunacy where there's other people running with opposite plans of
The last mayor of Chicago election was pretty close.
it was close.
It was close.
It
It was
close.
within
Why
20,000
do you
votes
think
or
it
something
was
like that.
close?
I don't know.
Lori Lightfoot's a fucking insane like, what are we doing here? What the fuck are we doing? And her predecessor won. And then it's even more lunacy when he blames it on her for how bad the situation
He
is.
seems like a nice guy. I think he's in over his head. He's a
No,
he's a teachers union representative. He's a former teacher himself. And
The light skinned black dude.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
you,
I
no,
got I
you
know
can't
you're
you can't run a major city with experience in education and then like local politics. Like, no, you need to have a world view. I'm not sure if he has one. He's not
His
sharing.
worldview is that he was covered by.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
That is the answer.
It's probably fair.
Is because when people vote on the other color in that area, and this is what the problem is, only having two colors that create shit like this.
What?
Is like they think you're racist and all this other shit. He blamed it on. It was a funny tweet where someone's like, "Oh, the new mayor is blaming the new mayor is blaming it on the same people that attacked fucking Justice Smollett, those hardcore Republicans."
That sounds like
in Chicago.
The two Nigerians.
Correct.
The
He's
two
saying
MAGA
that.
Nigerians.
Correct. He's saying like this is it. The person that made that quote is like, this is so stupid. It's just as stupid as saying that there was MAGA Republicans attacking a fucking guy in minus something degree weather.
It's, satire is usually a little bit more subtle, but this is literally straight from the headlines. It's you can't make it up.
You can't make it up.
It's-
Chicago's
it's-
one of those things you can't. Hey, and Barstool Sports, shout out Dave Portnoy, we love you, we're a fan of the show. They spend a fortune just now finding one of the most gangster locations in downtown Chicago.
Okay.
Full basketball courts.
Wow.
Whole fucking 9 yards. They just got it. And I'm giving it a shout out because not only are you investing in that city, you moved half of your talent from the New York office to that city. You're supporting that city, and you're bringing an ideology of like, I don't want to say freedom because that sounds corny, but like of entrepreneurship, where Dave's, meaning the owner of Barstool and their brand, may not align with your political beliefs. A lot of the hardcore political people always attack Barstool. Now he's in the city where like he's not only gaining the respect of the community, he's going to continue to build that and grow it stronger, which gives a hope to Chicago. Because you guys keep voting for the same dumb shit.
But yeah, I mean, Chicago.
Since I've been
Chicago
a kid.
wants jobs. They want influence. They want infrastructure. They want things that can make them rival New York and Los Angeles more. And so, having more people move there and having more people have jobs there, that's the answer, right? So, and it's a big brand.
Part of it.
It's a big brand.
It's a huge brand. I was like, they had a tiny office in Chicago, tiny. And the talent in Chicago, no offense, was just subpar mediocre compared to their main office in New York, which started in Boston, 29 yards. I want to go through the history of Barstool. They literally one of the main millionaire not co-founders. I don't want to call him that either, but one of the main top dogs that comes after the founder.
Right.
Moved to Chicago.
Maybe that was his decision.
No, it was 100% his decision.
No, I mean,
the
decision was to invest in another city. They've already got the Eastern Seaboard.
They always had a little tiny office in Chicago.
Right.
Now they're made massive. We're bringing in, they took in a lot of the talent from before. The New York office that provided most of the talent are now living in Chicago. There's a famous scene where he's like, or a guy named Jersey Jerry who was
Jersey Jerry.
Jersey Jerry, shout out
Wow.
to him, man. He was like a blue collar worker in a union type of guy.
Okay.
And he's such a character that they hired him. He moved to Chicago. And there's a famous video recently of him being late to an episode where Dave flew into Chicago. He's in there.
He's waiting.
He's waiting. But before that episode took place, Jersey Jerry is in traffic going live, losing his mind of Chicago traffic. Oh my god!
Really
he
bad.
Lost his. It's such a fun because he's late to a very important show, and he goes live on losing his mind just show.
Awesome.
Oh, but they called him out like, you could have left earlier, right? We're taking the train, right?
Hey.
Yeah. I know about that. But anyways, yeah.
Good stuff.
Chicago. What was the term for Chicago for the people that know it's violent?
I don't know.
No, you always said it's
Chirac.
Chirac. I love me some Chirac.
Yeah.
And that was around the time that we were in war with Iraq. Chicago. You get stories out of Chicago.
You can't make this up, people.
It's a fucking normal weekend, right? Not even a holiday weekend, and there's 70 people shot. It was wild.
Yeah, and that's interesting because I don't want to.
You're just there for Ballapalooza, right?
No, I wasn't there this year, but it's interesting because you'll call that an FBI, right? They define a mass shooting as 4.
Oh, I was gonna say 3 or more.
4.
Okay.
So 4 or more, and so say 70 people are shot over a weekend.
All the time.
It happens all the time.
All the fucking
I don't know if it always makes the news, but
I see it on Twitter.
Right.
So I will see some shit that won't even.
That's 15 mass shootings a
And the team that always opposes mass shootings and will try to restrict gun rights to
well, I mean, I think everybody opposes mass shootings except for the people pulling the trigger.
And
Right.
you're absolutely right.
Right. I think just to be fair.
To be fair, because red and blue team all oppose mass shootings. But the team that
Except
goes,
if we're in the Middle East, and we're all on board.
I guess,
or Ukraine, we're all on board with that.
Oh, yeah,
No.
I guess what I was trying to say is the people that immediately jump on mass shooting, a little bit different.
Okay, so maybe a better statement.
Yeah.
So with the last pandemic, and I say the last because there's maybe not soon.
Kid pneumonia.
Maybe not. Yeah, kid pneumonia is coming. It's the white lung problem.
I haven't heard
some of the media have learned their lesson, or some of the government have learned their lesson, and they've left. They've done their own. They've gone off and done their own thing, but others are doubling down. This is it. This is the time where you saw the power that you got the last time it came around, and you're ready to do it again. Right? I'm not saying it's going to happen this cycle.
You're talking about kid pneumonia, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean that's part of it. But speaking of the combination of media and government, how effective they are together in creating the message or creating the way to shape people's thoughts and feelings, it's a really, really strong thing, right? Some of them learned their lesson and they realized they were the bad guy and they left. They went and jumped off, started their own company, started their own. Glenn Greenwald was one of them, and now, you kind of wonder, the legacy media folks, the folks that are in the government, are they going to do it again? Are you ready for that? Or is the public going to say, nope, we're not falling for this. We see what you're doing. And even though it could be a totally different reason, not gonna vote that way, or not gonna allow this to happen.
The public is no longer one group. Because we do have a lot of people that thrive, sad, when they're being told what to do, with the power of being able to tell on someone else.
As long as there's an out.
You've always known these people since you were in first grade or younger. They've always existed. They're there. They don't change. They live. Like, that's just that's a part of life. Is like,
it's part of life now.
No
sure.
matter how many people you have in the right of a situation where they should have learned their lesson, a lot of people did learn their lessons. Many of the people are free thinkers that will never let this happen again. But at the same time, you may not realize, but you can see how many people haven't learned the lesson and will only feel empowered by getting that life again of restrictions and ability to tell on people. And it's sad because there are a lot of people like that. And, you know, those are not people that I have in my life or that I care about, but some of those people are passionate enough to run for office. So we need counters to that, is the people that are normal, that maybe not as passionate as them to be able to like try to put restrictions on people because of the good of the humankind, of saving lives and all this bullshit of unnecessary masks that don't work and all these other things that don't work. They loved implementing because they give them power. A lot of those people never had power in their whole entire lives. These are the people that, like, let's go back to like, when do you start sharing lunch at schools? I don't know if that's late elementary or that's early middle school. There's a lot of people that you did not want to sit next to because as a child you're raw and you understand who you don't like and what you don't like. And a lot of people that were chosen to not be sat next to for the appropriate reasons. Children are fucking ruthless, but they're honest. Those people hold grudges. And when they have power, they're some of the most dangerous human beings in the world. And I know I'm taking it to the extreme, but I have to take it there because we had some of those people show themselves out and like take note of who were some of the most ruthless people during the pandemic. Take note of your friends and family members that were just so extreme. And some of them may be extreme and maybe learn their lesson. Some of those that didn't, do you want to take the time to try to change their mind? Or do you focus on something else that might be more positive? Like,
I think the ones that learn their lessons are they're done with that. I think they're ready to kind of move away from the whole group think and
and that's beautiful, man. Like, I like the ones that learned a lesson. Is like, if it took a fucking world pandemic to shut down the world for you to change that life isn't what you were pictured to be from fucking Disney.
A lot of people changed their entire outlook. A lot of people changed political parties or just left politics altogether. A lot of folks.
Some people doubled down.
That's what I'm saying. Is that the ones that are really into it, like Dougie like ticks, they're doubling down.
They're doubling fucking down.
Yeah.
And those are the same type of people that fiend for power. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I want to call him like it's a stupid word like a Hitler or Mussolini. It's just someone that maybe didn't have the skill sets that those two people I just named have, but they have the ambition of it, or they see that as the shortcut of hey, these other people maybe that have looked at me oddly, rightfully so, because you think that fucking control with masks and all these lockdowns and shit were normal. When you see that the people that don't think like you are not thinking like you want to strike at them. I don't know. It's a messy.
Maybe,
thing.
but I mean, seeing the difference is probably enough to give it what it requires. Like maybe they're doing something differently that's right. Maybe that's
Hopefully.
so.
I realize not all humans think the same because
Right.
I would want to believe that and fall in line with that. Like, oh, if I was thinking this way, then I saw the facts, right? And then I'll leave it with this. I learned about the word moron. Right? Moron. And I think it came from the Gottman Institute, which is one of the most, by the way, if you get better help, shout out to a future sponsor. Shout out to everyone who is taking extra steps to seeing a therapist and all that stuff. One of the main thinkers in the therapist world is the Gottman family, which is a couple basically. Fucking Mr. and Mrs. Gottman. Look into them, blah blah blah. I still don't know enough about them to like even teach you guys. But I've always heard about them in this field, and that's someone very close to me in that field. One day randomly I heard about the word moron coming from the Gottman Institute.
Okay.
Which is an institute based on relationships and all this shit. And it made so much sense when I got the breakdown that in like, let's say pre 1900s or early 1900s, whatever, the word idiot was around. But idiot, you can physically see in a person kind of ahead of time and know that they're idiots, right?
Okay.
A moron
is a deeper level of it.
A moron looks normal. Like you're on a boat, maybe you're about to go over a fucking waterfall, whatever it is, and the guy that you thought was normal is a fucking idiot. That's a moron. Where you don't find out till like it's the extreme moment of a situation.
Oh no.
And basically what the Gottman Institute was like, hey, not all people that are dumb look a certain way.
Mental health is health.
Some of us look normal, but we're still fucking dumb. And then that gave me the full 360 as good advice of I always, as a young teenage, late teenagers, early 20s, thought about evil people being like
this. Yeah, you mentioned this
so crazy. This is the craziest thing. Like old people, evil people are the most dangerous things, and then a rich person's like
the dangerous people are not the evil people,
not
because there's so few of them. It's the idiots. It's the
morons,
the morons, the idiots, the stupid people.
It's stupid people is the word.
Will do whatever you tell them to do. News says
because some
they're
stupid
the ones
people,
to be afraid of.
Some
also you can't change their minds once they're made up. You can't reason them. There's no logic or reason. It's just whatever they want to believe, and it can't be changed.
And it may be innocent, and they may be thinking they're doing the right thing, but
that
will ruin your life.
That's the problem. Is that you have to reconcile yourself with that. Is that you know that they're innocent. Morally, you have to reconcile yourself, knowing what's
it's
right.
your own fault for doing shit with stupid people. That's the bottom line.
But you can't cut people like that out of your life entirely.
At some point, maybe it's a smart way to do it.
Maybe, but I mean, maybe that's your family. Maybe that's your close friends.
That's what hurts.
Fucking morons.
That's what it hurts. And that's a little bit on you. It's like, why are you only making friends and morons? Yeah. Family's the one where it's like you don't have a choice, but you were smart enough to distinguish that. Holy shit, I was raised by fucking morons, idiots. Which hopefully is not the case, but if it is, and you're self-aware, that's powerful.
Sure,
that's going to give you new tools in life that other people born to the same situation that didn't get self-aware are not able to use and utilize to make their life.
I like that.
because you don't have to be a moron or an idiot if you come from that.
Should we just say like one thing instead of saying morons?
I only
'Cause I
say
feel like
that
this
because it's so funny that specifically the
Like-
word moron came from
like-
an institute that
Can we say
is
like
so famous.
Gottman person? A Gottman?
No, because the Gottmans are like their whole work
It also
is,
kinda
I've
sounds-
always thought was relationship work.
Well, maybe,
So how
but
I
it
always
also
just-
kind of sounds like they're kind of like eugenicists. Kind of sound like they're
You know what?
Nazis.
You know what? I accept that. I accept that. And I always think about eugenics. It comes into my head all the time. It's
Yeah,
like
well, you know,
most people in charge kind of believe in that, right? Bill Gates of the world are
Yeah.
the biggest eugenics.
like
of all
weed
time.
out the dummies.
By
That's
far.
what- yeah, that's what they want.
And this is not a fucking conspiracy theory. Look into what Bill Gates' dad was into and what he was the president of. I'm not even gonna give you the answer. You look that up.
Yeah, Margaret Sanger was a eugenicist.
Shout out to Margaret Sanger.
Shout out to Margaret Sanger. I mean,
Hero of Democratic Party at this point
he's
in
like
time.
coming out from the grave right now, like yeah, big thumbs up. Like I wanted to kill all the non-white people.
And to and not a shout out, but just to give you a quick brief history on just to go on what he just said. This is the lady that is a hero to people that are
Planned Parenthood.
pro
She started
choice.
Planned Parenthood.
They're pro-choice.
Think about it.
But
She's basically a Nazi.
no. Let's go back to that. No, this is the pro-choice inventor, basically. Like she's the queen of the pro-choice people. But then you gotta realize she hated black people. Nazis hated Jews.
Oh yeah.
This lady despised black people.
She didn't hate anyone else as much as she hated black.
She despised whatever brought it out in her to be the worst of any kind, to maybe eliminate generations of them. She despised black people. Maybe she had a bad experience in the movie theater. We don't know. We haven't gone back that far. There was a black and white movie where someone tried to spoil the ending very out loud. We don't know what caused her to be. But the fact is, she did not like black people, and yet she's the hero of the pro-choice movement, which is fucking wild.
It's fucking wild.
And I bring up Bill Gates because look into his daddy and what he had to do with that fucking movement that wanted to eliminate black babies. That's wild. And then some people call it conspiracy theory. No, these are motherfucking facts. Like
It's not.
it's
a theory.
undeniable
It's-
facts
it's
that
not-
you can
it's not a
interpret
theory.
however you want.
It's
There's
not a
no
theory.
theory. There's
It's not a
no theory here.
It might not even be a conspiracy. It's just
Conspiracy
it's
is such a
correct.
weird word because it's just like two people
No,
or more, right?
Right, but they're doing something together that is trying to influence or change something else that they're not directly capable of doing on their own. So it's not like you're in a job or you're in a position in politics or something like that, and you're orchestrating these changes. You have to work with somebody else. That's what makes it a conspiracy. The theory part of it is it's not true, or it may not be true, and it involves not just two people or more than one person, but it's other things going on that are unbelievable or might be unbelievable.
And I don't know if our time is coming up, is it?
It's
I'll end it with this, guys. Because once again, we have a lot of young listeners, and I love you guys because it's so cool to see you guys research shit. Is conspiracy theory, at least in America, became a household word or was introduced to the household when Kennedy was shot. And I hate to say it this way, but the conspiracy theory behind that is that it was the CIA. They introduced that word during the Kennedy assassination to counter anyone that opposed the obvious lie of the official story.
because the theory,
Just think about that.
because the theory has to be proven to become not a theory. It has to become fact after it's proven. And until it can be proven, it's a theory.
None of that mattered because the people that say we have all the facts are telling you, listen to us, and everything else is now this new word. And that new word,
New categorization.
oh my God, it held so much till this day.
It still does.
till this day, you're considered a lunatic or
Crisis actor.
Correct. Whatever the fuck the word is. It worked, man. And the CIA at that time, they're all lawyers. They still are. They're very smart people. These are from some of the highest educational fucking classes and institutions in the world in history.
Right.
And that's most of our CIA, and they came up with this creative thing.
They're
Shout out to you guys because that was fucking genius.
Now we're on a watch list.
The last one, I'll just throw out there. We've always been on a watch list. We talked about FC before we got arrested. That's really what put us on it.
That's
our
true.
viewership.
That is true.
Our viewership went up. Because we fucking called that shit out before you got arrested. So that I will always point out. I lost my train of thought because I was going to throw into that, but it's been a great episode. Bro.
I agree. Rock and roll. We're back. We're still alive. We're back.
Oh,
we're here.
We're fucking good.
Hey.
I love you guys. I really appreciate our listeners, our hardcore fans. We're back.
Couple things real quick.
For sure.
Before we get to the end. This is Juan's office now, so this is the studio. We're not always going to be here, but when we do, we would appreciate it if you provided us feedback of how your listening experience has gone. Otherwise, we'd be in the bunker, be back in the the house or the closet, or whatever it is. But yeah, it's been a good first trial run. So let us know how it works out. Second thing, you can now, through the Spotify for Podcasters setup, after we post the link to the show, you can go there and you can leave us a voice message. It's
that's
free.
Cool.
It's free of charge.
That's
we'll
awesome.
check it out. And if you do that, then we'll respond on our next show.
Every single time, guys.
Yeah.
So definitely leave a message.
We'll definitely get back to you with whatever.
I will upload this episode by tomorrow. That's my new thing. Is that anytime that we do an episode within 24 hours, it will be up on our YouTube. We'll put it up on X or Twitter for the old school folks. So yeah, no, we love you guys, and we're gonna put out some more content. This was fun. Trevor and I took a break because life hit us hard. I now have an office and a new business, and it's cool. And that will hopefully be our main sponsorship because I'm gonna start bringing that to you guys. We filmed a commercial today.
We did, and you'll see the commercial. Yeah,
and it's cool because if you're looking for a vehicle, I ship nationwide. And I think that the company that I'm promoting to the world right now will be very helpful to a lot of people that want a good deal and not feel ripped off in the car market. So, so I appreciate you guys. That's all I wanted to say.
From the heart. Love it.
For sure.
All right. One last thing. You know what it is.
Stay woke.
Stay woke, baby.
Always. Love you guys.